subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
And after images appeared one after another in midair. If the cartoon is played frame by frame, it is normal. Before Broly recovered from his astonishment, the figure of Son Goten had already appeared in front of him. Then a straight punch hit Broly hard in the stomach. Boom! Wow! The moment the low crash sounded, a mouthful of blood spurted out directly from Broly's mouth. The huge body, of more than 3 meters high, was also thrown back a distance of several hundred feet by a punch. Giggle! Broly hugged his belly in pain. At this moment, he felt that his stomach was completely kept together, and he felt a heart-piercing colic. Although he is very strong after the runaway, and his body is strong enough, but after Son Goten cast Ultra Instinct, the power of that punch was extremely terrifying. Roar! Ah! The pain continued to stimulate Broly, making him howl like a heart-piercing beast. The grass-green light in the body also increased greatly again. Whoosh! Son Goten didn't hesitate at all. The body flashed and appeared again like a ghost. Then a beautiful roundabout kick hit Broly's neck hard with his foot. Boom! Rumble! Broly's huge body hit the ground directly, and the ground was smashed into a shocking sinkhole. At this moment, he didn't have any intention of showing mercy, because even the current him, under the condition of using Ultra Instinct, can only persist for less than half a minute. If Broly wasn't completely dealt with within half a minute, something serious would happen to his body. When the time comes, it will be like fish on a chopping board, ready for Broly to slaughter. After kicking Broly into the ground, Son Goten's body jumped up and stood in the air. Whoosh! Then quickly gather energy with one hand. A silver energy light bullet was condensed in a moment. This is pure divine power. No matter how strong Broly's body is, it is absolutely impossible to withstand it. Boom! Rumble! The energy ball hit exactly where Broly was. With a deafening roar, the whole planet began to shake. The ground was directly pierced by energy waves, and the scarlet magma surged crazily. And Broly's body once again appeared in Son Gohan's sight. At this moment, the huge body was covered with scars. There were bloodstains at the corners of his mouth and eyes. But at this moment, he was even more furious. Like an awakened ancient beast, it bared its teeth. The breath is even more terrifying. Obviously, Broly, who was stimulated by the pain, became stronger and more vicious at this moment, gradually controlled by the wild, a little bit of loss of self-awareness. Actually, resist it? This guy is so tenacious that it's unbelievable. Looking at Broly, who only suffered a few injuries, Son Goten was shocked again. Roar! A frenzied roar escaped Broly's throat again. Immediately afterwards, the green energy around the body became more and more terrifying. Energy balls were also continuously released from around the body. Wherever it went, the ground was destroyed. The scarlet magma churned and surged continuously. The entire planet is completely dilapidated, and it is estimated that in less than a minute, this planet will completely disappear. Broly's energy is still destroying the planet. A serious look gradually appeared on Son Goten's face. Because I've been fighting with Broly for so long, the system's electronic notification sound did not appear. That means he didn't pick up Broly's super bloodline. You must know that they risked their lives to come to this planet just to pick up Broly's super blood. At this level of fighting now, if you can't pick up Broly's super bloodline, it will be too bad. And more importantly, Broly has completely lost his mind now. Start the crazy destruction. This planet is estimated to be completely destroyed in a minute. At that time, he may be in danger. After all, he cannot sustain Ultra Instinct mode for a long time. And with the power of Super Saiyan alone, it is completely impossible to survive in the universe. System, the cell of Fusion Cell. At this moment, Son Goten suddenly thought that when he killed Cell before, he picked up his cell. At the beginning, he did not choose Fusion Cell cells, because for him, cell cells are not very useful. Unexpectedly, at this time, cell cells will come in handy, because in cell cells, there are genes of Frieza and his father King Cold. and the frozen demons can completely survive in a vacuum. Good host. The electronic synthesis sound of the system sounded quickly. Then, accompanied by a tingling pain all over his body, the system prompted that the fusion was successful. Countless new knowledge appeared in his mind in an instant. Vegeta's ultimate flash, Frisia's death ray and planet destruction bomb, Piccolo's magic light cannon, Tianjinfan's new Kigon cannon, and other skills. But these are of little use to Son Goten. The only thing that will come in handy right now is Frisia and King Cold's ability to survive in the universe. Ha! Broly's aura is getting stronger and stronger, and the planet is like a boat in Wangyang crumbling. Son Goten also knows very well that it is time to give Broly a fatal blow. Even if you can't pick up the legendary Super Saiyan blood this time, you must not die in this place. It's over, Broly. With this in mind, Son Goten looked at Broly with extremely serious eyes. In the next second, the body instantly appeared in front of Broly. The silver god energy condensed in the palm was aimed at Broly's chest, without any hesitation, and without giving Broly any chance to resist. The energy ball blasted out from the palm instantly. Ah! Accompanied by a piercing scream. Broly's body disintegrated and dissipated bit by bit under the energy of God. The terrifying energy impact directly caused the entire planet to explode in an instant. At the same time, the familiar electronic synthesizer sounded in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for picking up the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline plus 5 billion fighting power. Boom! The moment the electronic synthesizer sounded, the planet also exploded, and a beautiful firework bloomed in the vast universe. 029 Everyone is shocked. Why can Goten survive in the universe? Seeking flower evaluation tickets. Boom! The gorgeous fireworks gradually began to dissipate and finally reduced to dust in the universe little by little. Broly's body was also completely missing at this moment. At this time, Son Goten, standing in the sky in the vast universe, is as small as a speck of dust. The explosion of the planet just now also caused him to suffer serious injuries, bleeding profusely. Although he has the ability to destroy a planet in an instant, but being able to destroy a planet and being able to withstand the power released by a planet's explosion are completely different things. If the energy barrier hadn't been condensed in time just now, it is estimated that in the explosion wave of the planet just now, it is very likely to be seriously injured or directly killed. This is not an exaggeration at all. Son Goten immediately exited the realm of Ultra Instinct. The whole person instantly felt extremely limp, as if the strength in his body had been emptied. After all, casting Ultra Instinct itself consumes a lot of physical energy, and it also causes great damage to the body. Besides, the explosion wave just now also caused a lot of injuries to him. After feeling the weakness in his body, Son Goten quickly took out another fairy bean and put it in his mouth. After chewing a few times, the injuries on his body miraculously healed again. He could clearly feel that the energy in his body seemed much stronger than before. That kind of power is almost gushing out. Finally get rid of that guy. However, this approach is really a bit too risky. Even now that he has recovered his full strength, he still has lingering fears. That guy, Broly, was stronger than he imagined. In the state of Ultra Instinct, I endured 2 full-strength attacks before I completely killed him. Fortunately, he was not given more time to grow. Otherwise, it is really unknown whether he can survive in the end. However, this kind of risky adventure finally got him a satisfactory result. Got what he was most looking forward to. The legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. This time he also came for it. The basic combat power of 5 billion has also improved his strength qualitatively. After fusion has the legendary Super Saiyan blood, it is hard for him to imagine how strong he will become. But one thing is certain, it is definitely not the same as it is now. The system has detected a non-fused bloodline, the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. Is the host fusion? At this moment, the electronic synthesis sound of the system sounded again. In the bloodline column of the personal template, the words of the legendary Super Saiyan, not fusion, also appeared. No fusion yet. Son Goten gave the order in his head. Now, In the vast and illusory universe, Fusion's fabled Super Saiyan bloodline didn't know what to expect. So fusion in this place is obviously not appropriate. Fusion can only be performed with peace of mind when you are in a safe place. Good Host the system also responded immediately. Then there was no movement. At this time, Son Goten looked at the vast, boundless universe. A sense of loneliness comes with it, although he trained alone in the spiritual time house for a year. But he knew he was on Earth at the time. As long as you step out of the gate of the spiritual time room, you can return to the Earth. But now he doesn't know how to get back to Earth. Getting back to Earth won't be easy without the universe ship. Therefore, his current plan is to find a planet with signs of biological activity first, and then find a way to return to Earth. After making up his mind, Son Goten disappeared in place in a flash. And at this time on the planet King Kai, Son Goku and Son Gohan are all happy. Because Goten survived, and Broly was killed. Amazing, Goten! Son Goku clenched his fists excitedly. Not only did Goten take care of that Broly, but he actually survived the planet's explosion. Goten, this kid, is really outrageously strong. Broly's last breath is really too strong. Dad, even if you become Super Saiyan 3, you still can't beat Broly. Son Gohan is also full of excitement and excitement. They could clearly feel Broly's breath at that time. Powerful beyond description. Although Son Gohan has reached the form of Super Saiyan 2. But he knew very well that Broly at that time could definitely kill him instantly. It is estimated that even Dad's Super 3 form is not Broly's opponent. You're right, Gohan. Even if I become Super Saiyan 3, it's absolutely impossible to defeat Broly. That guy is really too strong. But that kid Goten is the best. The current him is estimated to have reached a level that we cannot understand. Son Goku nodded first, and then said to everyone with a calm face. Goten estimates that the height reached now is an area that is difficult for them to understand. Before they felt that the form of Super Saiyan 3 was really strong. But after experiencing the battle between Goten and Broly just now, they also gradually realized that Super Saiyan 3 is not worth mentioning in front of the two of them. It looks like they still have a long way to go. Cluck, damn it. Damn Kakarot. Father and son have surpassed me. Unforgivable. Vegeta's face was livid with anger. At the beginning, Kakarot was the only one who surpassed him. But 8 years ago, Kakarot's son, Son Gohan, the kid, surpassed him. Fortunately, even Kakarot's youngest son has become so strong. He, the second child of 10,000 years, fell directly to the 4th position of 10,000 years. Gas. It's so irritating. Didn't you realize? That guy Goten can survive in the universe. If I remember correctly, Saiyan doesn't seem to have this special ability. Only then did Piccolo speak. You can't survive in the universe even if you become a Super Saiyan. But Goten seems to be totally fine. And moving forward at a very fast speed. Yes. How is this going? Saiyan really can't survive in the universe. Son Goku also looked puzzled. Vegeta on the side obviously didn't understand what was going on. Saiyan does not have this special ability. But Frieza they can. Maybe it has something to do with the breath of God in Goten's body. Looking at the puzzled crowd, King Kai spoke. It is normal for a warrior with the power of God to survive in the universe. 030 Supreme Kai and Jebet. The saviors are here. Seeking flower evaluation tickets, Son Goku and the others nodded in agreement. Indeed, they couldn't think of any other reason besides this explanation. I hope that kid will be blessed with great fortune and stick to it in the universe. King Kai muttered to himself in a low voice. Although that Son Goten's character is different from Son Goku and Son Gohan, much more decisive than them. But he knew Son Goten was also a good boy. Be a good fighter. Killing Broly for the Southern Galaxy helped the entire galaxy save countless planets and creatures. Everyone, please rest assured. Goten has such strength, presumably he can survive in the universe. Piccolo also spoke at the side at this time. Son Goku and the others don't continue to observe Son Goten either, because Goten's current strength is too strong and has far surpassed them. It can be said that they were severely left behind. Hey, let's continue training. At first, I thought that Super Saiyan 3 was already very strong, But seeing Broly and Goten's battle today made me realize that our strength is still very weak. Son Goku smiled naively and said to Vegeta and Son Gohan, "At the same time, I also look forward to meeting Goten one day. Then fight Goten. Experience for yourself the power that Goten has now." Several people nodded seriously. In the past 8 years, although their strength has improved very much. But when compared, it pales in comparison. Son Goten's strength also greatly stimulated everyone's desire to practice. In this way, time passed day by day. A week passed in the blink of an eye. King Kai and Son Goku will also check on Son Goten's current situation every other day. At this time, Son Goten has been wandering in the universe for a whole week. Although this universe is vast and boundless, there are countless planets in it, but the distance between each planet is at least hundreds of thousands of kilometers. No matter how fast Son Goten is, it is not an easy task to go from one planet to another. Moreover, random groping without a sense of direction greatly escalates the difficulty of searching. Fortunately, Son Goten still has 2 fairy beans on his body. Shindo not only can make people recover from injuries, but also can make people recover their physical strength instantly. But at this time in the vast and boundless universe, suddenly 2 figures appeared. One tall and one short. Both of them have silver white hair. The short one is only about 1.4 meters tall, with a silver white punk head, light purple skin, and a pair of elf ears. The taller one was a big man with a red face and long silver white hair hanging down his back. Both are wearing strange suits. The most striking thing is that the 2 big men are wearing a pair of earrings. Master Supreme Kai, look quickly. There seems to be someone over there. At this moment, the red-faced man suddenly said to the little man beside him. The words were obviously full of surprise. After all, there are not many races that can survive in the universe. This is the most desolate and remote location in the southern Milky Way. How could someone be here? Let's go and see Jebbet. Perhaps he has something to do with the explosion on the southern Milky Way planet a few days ago. The little dwarf immediately spoke seriously. That's right, the 2 guys in front of you are Supreme Kai Asin of the 7th universe and his bodyguard Jebbet. They left the Supreme Kai world to come to the southern galaxy this time, mainly to fulfill their professional duties of inspecting the planet. By the way, let's investigate the sudden explosion of the southern galaxy planet some time ago. In fact, in the past few years, dozens of planets in the southern galaxy have been inexplicably destroyed one after another. It's just that in recent years, he has been paying attention to Majin Buu's affairs. So I didn't focus on the southern galaxy. Just a few years ago, he got the definite news that the evil magician Babidi had a son Babidi. And he also has the ability to lift the seal of Majin Buu. Majin Buu is the fear in his heart. As long as that guy breaks the seal, it's very likely that the entire universe will be destroyed. So other things are not so important in front of this matter. Therefore, in the past few years, he has been constantly investigating Babidi's whereabouts. But Babidi was not found. Now he is like a frightened bird every day. Sometimes I can even dream about the picture of the other 4 Supreme Kai being killed and absorbed by Majin Buu thousands of years ago. Okay, Lord Supreme Kai. Jebbet immediately nodded respectfully. Then the 2 of them flashed, and an instant transmission appeared directly in front of a figure. It's actually a human child? After seeing the person in front of them, Supreme Kai Asin and Jebbet showed surprised expressions on their faces. How does a human child wander alone in the universe? Supreme Kai Asin was very shocked. And the kid who appeared in front of Supreme Kai Asin and Jebbet is naturally Son Goten, who has been wandering in the universe for a whole week. Son Goten was also surprised after seeing Supreme Kai Asin and Jebbet at this time. It's Supreme Kai Asin and Jebbet. The savior is here. Of course, I was surprised and excited at the same time. It was like seeing the excitement of a savior. Because meeting these 2 guys means he doesn't have to hang around in the universe anymore. Finally, I can leave this place of deathly silence. Hey kid, who are you? Why did you appear in the universe? Jebbet took a step forward, looked at Son Goten, and immediately asked with a straight face. Of course, this is Jebbet's character. Quickly, take me out of this place. I don't want to stay in this damn place for a minute, no, for a second. Son Goten looked at the 2 and didn't answer Jebbet's question, but spoke immediately. After wandering around in the universe for a whole week, he felt that his whole body was not good. For 7 days, he didn't even have a bite of hot food. This is simply a huge torture for a scion. Now his only thought is to get out of this ghost place and go eat something. 031 Supreme Kaiwa. Are you from Earth? Seeking flower evaluation tickets? Supreme Kai Asin raised his eyebrows slightly. The child floating in the universe in front of him doesn't seem to know who the two of them are. Otherwise, you should not dare to speak to the top gods in the universe in such a tone. Hey boy, do you know who is standing in front of you? He actually spoke to us in such a tone. Jupiter's eyes widened instantly. This little guy dared to be so arrogant in front of Supreme Kai. With a height of 2 meters and this expression, it is indeed enough to bluff. Forget about Jabbit. He's just a child and doesn't know our identities. Supreme Kai reminded Jabbit Dao. Those who don't know are not guilty. How could I not know you? Aren't you the East King Kai? Aren't you his bodyguard, Jabbit? Okay. Take me out of this place quickly. I really don't want to stay here anymore. Son Goten glanced at the two of them, then said quickly. Although these two guys look very imposing, and when playing in Dragon Ball Z, it is also full of style, but handsome for only 3 seconds, a Demon King Dubra almost scared the two of them to pee. After Majin Buu broke the seal, he almost frightened Supreme Kai to death. To be honest, as a top god in the universe, it is indeed embarrassing enough. What? Hearing that Son Goten revealed their identities so calmly, Supreme Kai and Jabbit were shocked. A mere kid wandering around in the universe would know the existence of Supreme Kai, and it seems that they know both of them completely, which really makes them feel incredible. How do you know? Supreme Kai Asin looks at Son Goten in disbelief. You must know that among human beings, not many know the existence of Supreme Kai. But this child is so clear. It is unusual. There's so much more I know. Can you take me out of here quickly? What do you want to ask after you leave here? And let me eat something. Son Goten continued to speak impatiently. Supreme Kai Asin immediately began reading Son Goten's message with mind reading. But unfortunately, he couldn't use mind reading to know what was going on in Son Goten's mind. Even more unable to read any of his information. This makes Supreme Kai Asin even more unbelievable. Mind reading is Supreme Kai's special ability. It's really weird that he can't read any information about the kid in front of him. This kind of thing has never happened before. Boy, since you know that standing in front of you is Supreme Kai, the highest in the universe, you should pay attention to your tone of voice. When speaking to Lord Supreme Kai, maintain due respect. Just when Supreme Kai Ashin was very surprised why he couldn't read Son Goten's mind, Jabiter on the side said to Son Goten with a serious face. Since the kid from before knew that Supreme Kai was in front of him, it was really unreasonable to use such a tone. Seeing Jebit's serious expression, Son Goten's face also changed slightly. Then the body suddenly flashed and appeared behind the two of them like a ghost. With both hands on their shoulders, a faint tone sounded from behind. Hey, I've been wandering in this boring universe for a whole week, and I'm a little irritable now. Please don't force me to beat you. Hearing the voice behind them, the two were shocked. His forehead also broke out in cold sweat instantly. At that moment just now, they didn't see clearly how the child appeared behind them. This speed is too fast. The two looked at each other, and they could see the shock in each other's eyes. Master Jie, Supreme Kai, this guy is definitely not an ordinary kid. Jebit spoke to Supreme Kai through a special sound transmission method. Yes, his strength is very strong, perhaps surpassing ours. Supreme Kai also replied to Jabbit immediately. Then what do we do now? Take him to the God realm. In this way, we may be able to find out his details. The two communicated through sound transmission. Eventually, Supreme Kai intends to bring Son Goten to the Supreme Kai world first. He felt that Son Goten seemed harmless, and there was no evil energy in his body. A human child actually surpassed him in strength, which really made him unbelievable. So he was very curious about who this kid was. If you bring him to the Supreme Kai world, maybe this problem will be clarified. Jebit nodded. Immediately after that, instant transmission was cast. Whoosh! The bodies of the three people faltered for a moment. and then disappeared in place in an instant. When it appeared again, it had already arrived at an emerald green planet. At first glance, there are verdant vegetation. This planet is very similar to the Earth. Supreme Kai World? Son Goten looked around and immediately recognized this place as the Supreme Kai realm, because Supreme Kai has appeared several times in both Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Okay, now can you tell me who you are? Why are you wandering the universe? Also, where are you from? After returning to the Supreme Kai world, Supreme Kai Asin turned his head, looked at Son Goten, and asked, "Certainly. By the way, I'm very hungry now. Can you ask him to get me something to eat first?" Son Goten pointed to Jebbet and said. Jebbet's face darkened immediately. He is Lord Supreme Kai's bodyguard. Now he is actually asked to help a human being prepare food, which is really outrageous. What's even more outrageous is that Supreme Kai Asin nodded and then said to Jebbet, "Jebbet, go get some food." Jebbet, although he was very upset, he must follow Supreme Kai's orders. While Jebbet was preparing the food, Son Goten also introduced himself, although he has the strength far beyond Supreme Kai and Jebbet. After all, this guy in front of him is also the most cutting-edge voice in this universe. It's a little timid, but at least the heart is still very good. My name is Son Goten, from Earth in the Northern Galaxy. As for why you are wandering in the universe, Son Goten didn't hide anything and told the story of killing Broly himself. It's no secret at all, so there's nothing to hide. What? Are you from Earth? Supreme Kai Asin was stunned. The Earth of the Northern Galaxy? Isn't that the planet where I hide the sealed Majin Buu magic egg? And the legendary Super Saiyan Broly is likely to be the culprit who caused the destruction of countless planets in the Southern Galaxy. 032 picking up God's skill, instant transmission, and healing technique. Seeking flower evaluation ticket. Mr. Goten, in that case, thank you very much for taking care of that Broly. Save hundreds of millions of living beings in the Southern Galaxy from extinction. I thank you for the survivors of the Southern Galaxy. After listening to Son Goten's introduction, Supreme Kai immediately lowered his posture and expressed his gratitude to Son Goten. And the address has also become Mr. in this society where strength is respected. Strength can represent everything. Although he is the most cutting-edge Supreme Kai in the universe, but his strength is very average. So naturally, we must maintain a certain amount of respect for this kind of strong man who has helped the universe. You should really thank me. After all, this is what Supreme Kai is supposed to do. Son Goten was not polite to him and said directly. Otherwise, according to the strength of Supreme Kai and Jebbet, it is estimated that even if the two of them fit together, it is not enough for Broly to fight. At this time, Jebbet also served a few dishes. Strange in shape, it looks no different from those beasts in Bowsy Mountain. Son Goten finished quickly, although the taste was poor. But after starving for a full week in the universe, he's not that picky anymore. The taste is average but full. After wiping out all the dishes on the table, Son Goten touched his stomach and said, "Compared with my mother's craftsmanship, it's a world of difference." And these words made Jebbet's face darken even more. "Mr. Goten, is there something I don't know whether to say or not?" After Son Goten finished eating, Supreme Kai Asin leaned over and said awkwardly, "In fact, Majin Buu has always been his confidant. It can even be said that in the depths of his heart, it is like a nightmare. If Majin Buu breaks the seal, based on his and Jebbet's strength, he will definitely be killed in an instant. And even Babidi, the magician, has some powerful evil fighters under him. He and Jebbet are also not sure of victory. The Son Goten in front of him obviously has more power than them. If you can get his help, maybe you can kill Babidi and let Majin Buu continue to seal. Eat people's mouths are soft. Tell me what's the matter." Son Goten wiped his mouth and said, "It's like this. Tens of thousands of years ago, a demon with terrifying strength was born in the universe. His appearance instantly turned hundreds of thousands of planets into Death Stars. Later, our 5 Supreme Kais went to solve Majin Buu together. But it was a pity that Majin Buu was too strong, and finally the other 4 Supreme Kais were killed by Majin Buu." Supreme Kai Asin started Ula Ula with an introduction pass. These words are the same as what they said to Son Goku and Vegeta back then. The ultimate meaning is that the son of the magician Babidi had a son named Babidi. He also has magic that can awaken Majin Buu. But he has a group of controlled evil Deadpool by his side, so he hopes to get Son Goten's help. Only in this way can Babidi be solved without any risk of failure, so that Majin Buu can continue to be sealed. Understood. You mean you want me to help you kill the magician Babidi and his puppets? Son Goten nodded and said, in fact, with his current strength, he can easily get rid of the demon Lord Dabra. If Majin Buu, he still hopes to show up, because Majin Buu's super regeneration ability is a very good thing. Yes, that's what I mean. Supreme Kai Asin nodded quickly. Then he stared at Son Goten intently, waiting for his answer. If they can get the help of Son Goten, then it is absolutely no problem to continue to seal Majin Buu. I can promise you, I can even help you get rid of Majin Buu completely. But I have one condition. Son Goten nodded, looked at the two, and said, what condition? Supreme Kai asked quickly. It's very simple for you. You just need to fight with me once. Regardless of victory or defeat, I will agree to your previous request. Son Goten said with a faint smile. Although the strength of the two guys in front of them is indeed average, it can even be said to be weak. But Jebbet has two very good superpowers. That is the divine skill, instant transmission, and healing. If you can pick up these two abilities in battle, it will be very good. If you master instant transmission, there will be no such thing as being trapped in the universe in the future. That's all. When, of course, hearing that the conditions put forward by Son Goten were so simple, Supreme Kaioshin suddenly looked skeptical. Then immediately nodded firmly. Then it's not too late. Let's get started, Son Goten said impatiently, because he still has Chuanchao bloodline and no fusion. The Supreme Kai world is a very safe place, where you can rest assured to pass on the blood of fusion. Okay, then offend. Supreme Kai Asin also nodded quickly. Then he took a fighting stance. Cut. This kid, forget about it. He actually wants to challenge the two of us. I don't take God too seriously. Jebbet was quite unconvinced. Just a human being. He doesn't think he can defeat the combination of himself and Supreme Kai. Bring it on. Son Goten nodded. The expression was very flat, and it instantly changed into the form of Super Saiyan. Now he has fully mastered the transformation of Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2. So there is no need to transform by roaring at all. The two also rushed over quickly. Jebbet put all his energy into feeding. Both speed and strength were brought to the extreme. Hundreds of punches were thrown, but Son Goten was never hit, not even touching his clothes. The same goes for Supreme Kai Asin. Good, so terrifying strength. This kid didn't move at all, and he was able to avoid all attacks from me and Lord Supreme Kai. In this case, use instant transmission. I'd like to see if you're faster than instant transmission. While shocked, Jebbet also secretly made up his mind. Immediately afterwards, instant transmission was used. For a moment, countless afterimages of Jebbet appeared around Son Goten's body. Swish, swish, swish. Fist shadows are like the wind, covering the sky and covering the earth. But still can't hit Son Goten. Ding. Congratulations to the host for picking up the divine skill instant transmission. Ding. Congratulations to the host for picking up the god skill healing. Just after the boring battle lasted for 4 or 5 minutes, the electronic synthesis sound of the system rang in his mind. Son Goten's face suddenly showed joy. It seems that this system is really awesome. The probability of picking up attributes is very high. 033 fusion transmits transcendent bloodlines, erupting power, seeking flowers evaluation tickets. What a terrifying strength. Maybe Mr. Goten's strength can defeat Majin Buu. It seems that Babidi can be completely eliminated this time and prevent Majin Buu from waking up. Although he didn't touch Son Goten's body from beginning to end, Supreme Kai Asin was very excited, because he finally saw the power of Son Goten. And his intuition told him that Son Goten must not have exerted his full strength at this time. It is incredible that a human being can possess such a powerful force. What's more, he has been Supreme Kai for so long and didn't realize that there are such powerful fighters in the universe. Okay, that's it for now. After hearing the electronically synthesized sound in his head, Son Goten's goal has been achieved. This kind of boring battle naturally lost interest. Clenching his fists slightly, a terrifying puff of smoke erupted from his body instantly. The powerful air wave instantly spread in all directions with Son Goten as the center. The bodies of Supreme Kai, Asin, and Jebit were also directly sent flying. The two retreated a distance of tens of feet before they came to a steady stop. I was even more shocked by Son Goten's power. Just the burst of breath shook them out of such a long distance. More importantly, they all know that Son Goten is not using his full strength at all. It's great. This kind of power is really great. Supreme Kai Asin is even more excited. And Jebit, who was originally unconvinced, was also convinced at this time. Although the previous Son Gohan seemed arrogant. But he now understands that Son Goten does have arrogant capital. At such a young age, he can surpass the strength of Supreme Kai, who cannot be arrogant. Besides, the younger you are, the more frivolous you are. After knocking the two off with ease, Son Goten also exited Super Saiyan form. Mr. Goten, are you really too strong? When are we going to Earth? Supreme Kai hurried over and asked excitedly. With the help of Mr. Goten, he can definitely get rid of the magician Babidi easily. In a few days. Your place is relatively quiet. I want to continue practicing for a few days. This may be safer, Son Goten replied. In fact, he wants to complete the fusion of super blood here. Okay. Indeed, in order to ensure the occurrence of accidents, it is necessary to improve the strength. Supreme Kai Asin nodded again and again. The stronger Son Goten becomes, the higher the chance of success in sealing Majin Buu. More importantly, even if there are some unexpected situations in the middle, it can be dealt with. By the way, I don't want to be disturbed in my next training. And the movement may be a bit loud, so you'd better stay away from me. After Son Goten finished speaking, his body jumped and appeared on top of a mountain in an instant. Then sit cross-legged. Started to communicate with the system with ideas. System, Fusion's legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. Good host, the host, please get ready. Fusion will start in 10 seconds. Countdown begins the moment the countdown ended. A heart-piercing pain instantly spread throughout the body. It was as if an incomparably terrifying force was swimming through every inch of skin in the body. And the normal Saiyan genes in the body began to be quickly replaced, changed. Giggle. Son Goten clenched his fists tightly and frowned. Instant sweat. Pain. Heart-piercing pain. But he knew that this pain was to make him stronger. As time passed by, Son Goten could feel his genes being changed little by little. Flesh and limbs are undergoing a process of being reshaped. This heart-piercing pain lasted for about 20 minutes. Then it started to slow down gradually. The energy flowing in the body also weakened a little bit. However, the strength in the body has increased by an unknown number of times. At this moment, Son Goten suddenly opened his eyes, and the low growl began to echo throughout the god realm. Rustle. At the same time, grass-green, spray-like gas flames instantly rose around the body. Waves of air swept in all directions. Rumble. The entire Supreme Kai world began to tremble crazily. The surrounding mountains began to collapse rapidly, and it felt like the entire god realm was facing doomsday. Supreme Kai Asin and Jebit quickly put their arms in front of them. But the body began to retreat uncontrollably. There were 2 clear marks on the ground. Good. What a terrifying power. Is this Mr. Goten's real power? It's unbelievable. So strong. Supreme Kai Asin's heart was churning with turbulent waves. He never dreamed that there is actually a human being in the universe who can increase his power to this level. With this kind of power, the two have surpassed the original 4 Supreme Kai. Maybe Mr. Goten's power is not weaker than Majin Buu's now. Of course, he was young thousands of years ago, so he didn't know how strong Majin Buu's true power was. Indeed, it's too scary. It's really unimaginable that such a powerful force is possessed by a human being. Jebit also said in shock. With this kind of power, it is estimated that even if Majin Buu breaks the seal, he can solve it. Rumble. This violent shaking lasted for a minute, and then began to weaken slowly. The hurricane began to dissipate little by little. The ground gradually began to return to calm, and the arrogance around Son Goten is not as violent as before. Ding! Congratulations to the host, the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline fusion successfully. At the same time, the electronic synthesis sound of the system also rang in his mind. Did you make it? Is this the feeling of passing on the bloodline? The power is so strong that it is almost overflowing. This feeling is so comfortable. Clenching his fist, the power in his body seemed to be gushing out, and Son Goten's excited body was trembling. One can imagine how terrifying this power will be after becoming a Super Saiyan. Sure enough, in this world, blood is the eternal truth. 034 Transfiguration Chuanchao, the gods tremble, asking for flower evaluation tickets. And Son Goten can clearly feel that after fusion has the blood of the legendary Super Saiyan. It's not just ridiculously strong. Even the strength of the body has completely undergone a qualitative change. It's no wonder that in the theatrical version, Chuanchao Broly can resist Son Goku's Kamehameha wave with his face and remain unscathed. At this moment, Son Goten's aura has completely calmed down. Supreme Kai Asin and Jebit couldn't wait to fly directly in front of Son Goten. The eyes of the two of them flashed with incomparable excitement. At the same time, it also contains envy and admiration. The power released by Son Goten just now may be a height that they will never be able to reach in their lifetime. Enlightenment, Mr. Goten, the strength just now is your true strength. It's unbelievable. I never dreamed that a human being could have such a powerful force. Jebit looked at Son Goten with admiration and envy and said excitedly. This expression and posture didn't match his rough appearance at all. Mr. Goten, you are so strong. The power just now, it is estimated that even Majin Buu can be wiped out. Supreme Kai also clenched his fists happily like a child. Just now, it shouldn't be my real strength. And this power is not enough to eliminate Majin Buu. Son Goten shook his head, looked at the excited two, and said, although fusion has the blood of the legendary Super Saiyan, his basic strength has become very strong. But it is still impossible to completely destroy Majin Buu. After all, Majin Buu's super regeneration ability is still very terrifying. As long as one cell is not destroyed, it can recover again. And after the original Buu recovers, his aura will not weaken in any way. This thing is like brown sugar. It is indeed very difficult to deal with. What? You mean the ridiculously strong aura just now isn't your real strength? Seeing Son Goten's serious expression, Supreme Kai Asin and Jebit were completely dumbfounded. The breath just now was simply unimaginable for them. It is estimated that even if they train for another 1,000,000 years, they may not be able to reach that level. But I didn't expect that it was not Son Goten's real strength. What's more, Son Goten is just a kid. How strong will he become if given enough time to grow? Thinking about it makes me tremble. Son Goten nodded. He wants to feel how strong fusion is in the form of Super Saiyan after he has blood. And God Realm is the most ideal place. If it is on the earth, if it goes berserk or cannot control its own energy, it may cause a devastating blow to the earth. But the words of God Realm are different. Even if the entire God Realm is destroyed, at least Supreme Kai and Jebit can use instant transmission to leave. At worst, it will be good to rebuild it when the time comes. Gula, then, can you show your full strength? Swallowing hard, Supreme Kai Asin asked curiously. The strength Son Goten showed just now was enough to shock them. Now he wants to see how strong Son Goten will be after he unleashes his full strength. I'm also curious, what kind of level can the strongest fighter in this universe achieve? Jebit also stared at Son Goten expectantly. In his heart, Son Goten has become the most powerful warrior in the universe. Okay, since the two of you are so interested, let's take a look. Son Goten raised a faint smile at the corner of his mouth and said to the two of them. But Supreme Kai Asin always feels that this smile is so weird. It always feels like something bad is going to happen. By the way, I still can't fully control the next power, so you'd better stay a little far away. Son Goten turned his head with an innocent smile on his face and kindly reminded the two of them. Hearing this, the pupils of Supreme Kai Asin and Jebit shrank suddenly. Then he looked at Son Goten with wide eyes. Supreme Kai Ashin suddenly realized, I just said why I felt uneasy just now. After a moment of surprise and bewilderment, Jebet hurriedly pulled Supreme Kai for an instant transmission, which appeared thousands of feet away, then hid behind a mountain peak. But it always feels like it's not safe enough. Supreme Kai Asin quickly moved his mind, and an energy barrier appeared around the two of them. This made me feel more at ease. Seeing that the two retreated 1,000 feet away, Son Goten also began to prepare to transform. Then let me experience the legendary Super Saiyan form. After the voice fell, he clenched his fists violently. His eyes instantly became extremely firm. Ha ha! In the next second, a deep roar came from his throat. Hum rumble! The ground suddenly began to shake violently. The gravel on the ground floated directly in midair. The air waves under his feet began to spread rapidly like a tornado. An overwhelming aura instantly filled the entire Supreme Kai world and then began to spread rapidly towards the surroundings. Rumble! The deafening sound of collapse sounded one after another, and the surrounding mountain peaks continued to collapse under the terrifying airwaves. At this time, Son Goten's aura continued to increase sharply, but that aura was very irritable. God? Oh my God! Is this kid a monster? What kind of aura is this? The entire God realm is filled. Supreme Kai Asin is completely dumbfounded. He had never felt this kind of breath before. It was as unfathomable as an abyss. Jebiter had already opened his mouth in a daze, completely shocked and speechless. I didn't expect to see such a super powerful warrior in my lifetime. And in the shocked eyes of the two, Son Goten began to change. The black hair was suddenly bundled up high, and the grass-green energy around the body became more and more surging, appearing like a jet. The black eyeballs suddenly disappeared and became hollow and pale. Swish! In the next second, the black hair turned directly into grass green in an instant. At this moment, the atmosphere has once again discovered an earth-shaking change. At this time, Son Goten's anger has obviously surpassed that of Broly. Roar! A beastly roar emanated from Son Goten's throat. At this time, it is like a wild beast that is completely out of control. The breath is constantly expanding. The martial arts uniform on the upper body has been completely torn, and it is much more burly than when it became Super Saiyan. The blue veins on his face are wriggling like little snakes. Impressively, at this time Son Goten turned into the legendary Super Saiyan form. 035 Supreme Kai's Gift, Supreme Kai's Sword, seeking flower evaluation tickets. Son Goten opened his arms and slowly floated in midair. Rustle! Circles of terrifying air waves continuously spread towards the surroundings. The ground collapsed in circles, and the huge semicircular tinking reached hundreds of feet. At this time, Son Goten, although his expression seemed to have regained his composure, but his eyes were still empty, and the eyeballs had completely disappeared. Paired with the grass-green light radiating from his whole body, he does look a bit similar to Broly. At this time, Supreme Kai Asin and Jebet, who were hiding thousands of feet away, were already sweating profusely from fright. The breath just now was really terrifying. Even if they were gods, they all felt a great sense of oppression. The two of them have never felt this kind of oppression. Even the previous Majin Buu didn't seem to have such a strong aura. Master Supreme Kai, Son Goten's eyeballs disappeared. Did he lose control? If this is the case, the two of us will most likely be killed here. Jebet was trembling with fear and said, it would be too shameful for the supreme god in the universe to be killed in his own god realm. The most important thing is that if Supreme Kai is killed, the world will be in chaos. Mr. Goten should be able to control this energy, Supreme Kai Asin said uncertainly. After all, Son Goten has said it before, and he can't guarantee whether he can control the energy after transformation. And the disappearance of the eyeballs at this time made them very scared. While the two were talking, the figure of Son Goten had appeared in front of them like a ghost. What? Supreme Kai and Jebiter were stunned for a moment. Master Supreme Kai, you don't have to be so afraid. I am not out of control. Son Goten raised a smile at the corner of his mouth and then said to the two. Right after his voice fell, eyeballs slowly emerged from his empty and pale eyes. It's just that the eyeballs at this time are no longer black as before, nor are they light green after Super Saiyan. Instead, it turned into golden pupils. It's clear that Son Goten hasn't lost his mind after Fusion's fabled Super Saiyan bloodline. Nor does it turn into a tool that only destroys and kills like Broly. Instead, he can easily control his own reason. This may have something to do with the system. That's really great. It really scared us to death just now. After seeing Son Goten's eyes return to normal, Supreme Kai and Jebbit finally breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, they can also feel that Son Goten has returned to normal. His pupils recovered, and the irritable energy in his body began to calm down a little bit. This power is really ridiculously strong. It's much stronger than Super Saiyan 2. It's not even comparable. Gently clenched his fist, looked at his strong body, Son Goten said lightly. He felt that this form completely surpassed Super Saiyan 3, and he could easily rub Majin Buu on the ground. And if you want to destroy Majin Buu, the divine power of Ultra Instinct can definitely do it. After feeling the powerful force in his body, Son Goten also withdrew from Chuanchao's transformation. By the way, Mr. Goten, you are so powerful. I want to give you a gift. Presumably in this world, only you are worthy of using that thing. After seeing Son Goten changed back to his normal form, Supreme Kai Asin hurriedly spoke. Master Supreme Kai, are you talking about the Supreme Kai sword? Jebbit asked quickly. There aren't many good things in the Supreme Kai world. There are not many that can be matched with Son Goten. The treasure of the Supreme Kai world, besides the space-time ring, is the Supreme Kai sword. The space-time ring can only be used by Supreme Kai, and it must not be given away casually. That Excalibur had been in the Supreme Kai world for a long time, and it was so heavy that the two of them couldn't pick it up at all. Therefore, putting it in the God realm is also idle. If it is given to Son Goten, it may be able to display the true value of the Excalibur. Yes, the Supreme Kai sword. Both of us can't handle it anyway, and Mr. Goten has agreed to help us with Majin Buu. The Excalibur is even more powerful in the hands of Mr. Goten. Supreme Kai Asin nodded. Rather than giving it to Son Goten, it is better to let Son Goten's swords completely eliminate Majin Buu. You are right. Just in the God realm, it really doesn't have much effect. Jebbit also echoed. After all, neither of them can hold it. Each of the previous Supreme Kais used the Excalibur as a weapon. It's also a good time for the sword to be given to the hero. Is it the Supreme Kai sword? Hearing the conversation between the two, Son Goten became interested. But that interest isn't in the Supreme Kai sword, because that thing can no longer exert its power in his own hands. And with his current strength, he doesn't need any weapons. What interests him is the old Supreme Kai sealed in the Supreme Kai sword. Although old Supreme Kai is wretched and lacks strength, he has a superpower that no one else has. It is about being able to help others develop their potential in the body. Son Gohan in Dragon Ball Z is a typical representative. After the potential was developed, Son Gohan directly turned into a mysterious Gohan, pressing Majin Buu on the ground and rubbing wildly. That alone is enough to demonstrate just how powerful the old Supreme Kai's superpowers are. Now that I have fusion passed on my bloodline, if my potential can be developed by the old Supreme Kai, then my basic strength will definitely be improved qualitatively. In the future, even if you meet a strong person at the level of gods of destruction, you will still have the power to fight. It seems that developing potential is something that must be done. And right now in the Supreme Kai world, it's a great opportunity. Mr. Goten, please follow me. Supreme Kai said respectfully. Master Supreme Kai, just call me Goten from now on. After all, you guys are older than me. By how many years? It's been calling me sir all the time, and I also feel a little bit unnatural. Son Goten to Supreme Kai Asin. To be honest, he always felt unnatural to be called Mr., and he was called that by an old monster who was older than himself. Okay, Goten. Supreme Kai quickly nodded with a look of emotion. Goten, who is so powerful, can be neither arrogant nor impetuous, and he doesn't have any heirs in front of them. You must know that ordinary children have this kind of power, and they have long ruled the universe with great fanfare, calling themselves the Emperor of the universe. So Son Goten's approach naturally moved him immensely. Then please come with me. Then, under the leadership of Supreme, Kai Asin, and Jebet, the three came to a very strange cylindrical mountain. Then the body jumped lightly and instantly landed on the top of the mountain. And in the center of the mountain, there is a sword. Goten, this is the gift I want to give you, the Supreme Kai sword. This sword is very heavy, and Jebet and I can't move it at all. I think you must be fine. And with this sword, your strength will definitely become stronger. Supreme Kai Ashin pointed to the Supreme Kai world inserted in the crack of the stone and said, "Yeah, then I'm curious." Son Goten smiled, then took hold of the hilt of Supreme Kai's sword. Tried it. It is really heavy. It's no wonder Son Gohan struggled so much to transform into a super race form in Dragon Ball Z. But now he has been fused with Chuanchao bloodline. Even the basic combat power has already surpassed Son Gohan, the Super Saiyan at that time. What's more, at that time, Son Gohan hadn't trained for 7 years, and in Vegeta's words, his body had already rusted. Then Son Goten's expression suddenly changed. With a strong hand, the whole mountain was shaken in an instant. Cracks also suddenly spread towards the surrounding area. Clang! In the next second, Son Goten easily pulled out the Supreme Kai sword amid Supreme Kai Asin and Jebet's expression of seeing hell. Then hold the handle with one hand and play. And Supreme Kai's eyes are like copper bells, already a little suspicious of life. Is this their Supreme Kai sword? Why is it like a baby toy in the hands of Son Goten? 036 Old Supreme Kai. That sleeping adult is the strongest existence. Asking for flower evaluation votes. This thing is not very heavy. Son Goten held the Supreme Kai sword, waved it around a few times, and drew a few sword flowers, as if the Supreme Kai sword was as light as nothing in his hand. Forehead, it's because your strength is too strong. That's why you feel like this. Supreme Kai Asin said with an embarrassed face. Sure enough, there is no comparison between people. The Supreme Kai sword, which he and Jebet can't move a single bit, is so light in Goten's hand. It feels like a toy sword. This really made the two of them feel very ashamed. But there is no way. After all, the power possessed by Goten is far beyond their imagination. Is this thing hard? Son Goten flicked lightly with the middle finger of his left hand, and there was a crisp sound. The sound is really crisp and the material is nice. If it is placed on the Earth or other planets, it is indeed a very good baby. But now his strength is too strong. Naturally, he won't take the Supreme Kai sword seriously. And from the beginning to the end, what he was interested in was only the old Supreme Kai sealed in the Supreme Kai sword. Of course, I'm pretty confident it can help you kill Majin Buu. But what you say is not proven. Let me test it for you, Supreme Kai said confidently. Then he raised his right hand lightly, and a huge metal cube appeared in his hand out of thin air. This is the hardest metal in the universe. Take this to test the hardness of Excalibur. Goten, take it. After speaking, Supreme Kai threw the metal cube directly at Son Goten very confidently. Jebet also looked confident. He believed that Excalibur could slice through the hardest metal in the universe with ease. Okay. Son Goten raised his mouth and nodded. He knew exactly how embarrassing the situation was going to be. Afterwards, enough power was sent directly towards the metal cube. Bang! Click! The sound of metal colliding and crisp breaking sounded almost simultaneously. Under the expectant eyes of Supreme Kai and Jabber, the Excalibur snapped in the middle and split into two. And the metal square didn't show any traces. Huh! Supreme Kai Asin, Jabit. The two were directly deceived, and their eyes were once again as big as copper bells. The blinking look is a bit cute. God! The sword of the gods and gods is actually broken. Are you kidding me? Jebet mumbled to himself in disbelief. The strongest Supreme Kai sword in their minds was broken so easily. More importantly, the face slap came too fast and too loudly. Feel the burning pain on the face at this time. Just now I swore so hard. I didn't expect the Excalibur to be broken so easily. No way. That's a divine sword. Supreme Kai Asin is also in a daze. How can this happen? Just bragging about how powerful the Supreme Kai sword is. After less than a minute, it was directly folded into two sections. This is simply a large-scale face-slapping scene. Forehead, it doesn't seem as hard as you said. Son Goten looked at the broken sword in his hand in embarrassment and said to the two. With this said, the faces of the two became even more rosy. So shameful. So embarrassing. Just when these two people are extremely embarrassed and don't know how to relieve this embarrassment. Son Goten looked directly behind the two of them. Because behind them, a stooped old man appeared. A pair of bubble eyes were more than half covered by loose eyelids, narrowed into a slit, but they still couldn't resist that wretched look. Bend over and hook your back. Put your hands behind your back. Wearing the same outfit as Supreme Kai. This old man was naturally the old Supreme Kai who had just been released from the God Realm. As a time traveler, Son Goten is naturally very familiar. Supreme Kai Asin and Jebet also followed Son Goten's gaze. As soon as he turned his head, he saw a ghost-like thing. Ah! With an exclamation. Both of them were taken aback. Their hairs stood on end. It's no wonder, after all, a ghost-like old man suddenly appeared behind them. And it didn't make any noise. It would be strange if it wasn't frightened. But what followed were question marks all over his face. Who is this old man? Why can it appear in the Supreme Kai world? What's more, the costume he wears is very similar to Supreme Kai. Ahem. The old Supreme Kai coughed twice in embarrassment. This old gentleman, may I ask who you are? How did you appear in the God Realm? After calming down the panic in his heart, Supreme Kai Asin also asked politely immediately. He has no other specialties, but he has a very good temper and is very polite to people. Me? I am you? Supreme Kai, 15 generations ago. The old Supreme Kai said with a sullen expression on his face. But these two guys were able to release this divine sword from the seal by himself. It seems that this year's Supreme Kai is not too weak. Supreme Kai Asin and Jebet were shocked again. 15 generations, the former Supreme Kai. Apparently, they were unbelievable. 15 generations ago, Supreme Kai, they had never heard of it, and how he suddenly appeared. The old Supreme Kai immediately became popular with the two, said that he was sealed by a very powerful guy tens of millions of years ago. Of course, he did it because he was afraid of himself. Then I asked who pulled out the Supreme Kai sword. Master Ancestor. In fact, it was not me and Jebet that pulled up the Supreme Kai world, but Goten. Supreme Kai Asin said with some embarrassment. Unexpectedly, it would be Goten who rescued the ancestors from the Excalibur. This should be their duty to Si Wang Shun. Cut. Trash. It's a human being who rescued me. What a disgrace to Supreme Kai. But forget it, I'm already out. Since that little human being can pull out the Excalibur, it looks like he has a lot of power. The old Supreme Kai first looked at Supreme Kai Asin and Jebet with contempt, and then looked at Son Goten. Those who can pull out the Supreme Kai sword will definitely not be too weak. You must know that you were sealed by that big man. If there is no strong power, it is absolutely impossible to pull out the Excalibur. It is even more impossible to break the Excalibur. Yes, Lord Ancestor, Goten is very powerful, much stronger than me and Jebet. He's the most powerful warrior in this universe. Supreme Kai Ashin immediately proudly introduced. At least in his cognition, Son Goten is the most powerful existence. Even Majin Buu, the most feared, is not necessarily Goten's opponent. Cut. A frog in a well. The strongest warrior in the universe is no one else, much less a human being. The old Supreme Kai said dismissively. If it is said that the most powerful warrior in this universe, it is absolutely impossible to be anyone. It's the adult who is sleeping. He is the most powerful existence in the entire universe. No god or human being can compare with it. Not even 1/10,000th of his strength can reach. 037 Old Supreme Kai's panic. You actually know Mr. Beerus, seeking flower evaluation tickets. Forehead, Supreme Kai Asin and Jebet were immediately speechless, although they are very aware of the strength of Son Goten in their hearts. That kind of powerful strength is something they have never seen before. But now it was their ancestors who were standing in front of them and speaking, so naturally they did not dare to refute. Master Supreme Kai, may I have a few words with you, your ancestor alone? At this time, Son Goten flashed and appeared directly in front of Supreme Kai and the others. Then he said to Supreme Kai, he had a purpose for releasing old Supreme Kai from Excalibur. Although this old man is wretched and lecherous, his strength is too weak. But his skill in helping others develop their potential is unique. Even gods of destruction Beerus has no such ability. So his purpose is naturally to let the old Supreme Kai help him develop his potential. In this way, when you meet those real strong people in the future, you will have the capital to stand upright and speak in front of them. Sure, but Goten, if the ancestor said something that made you unhappy, don't be angry. After all, the ancestors are already very old. Supreme Kai Asen nodded quickly, and then begged. He could feel that his ancestor had no strength, but his tone was too loud. If you offend Goten, with Goten's current ability, he can kill the ancestors in minutes. Don't worry, I'm not a devil. Son Goten smiled, nodded and said. Then Supreme Kai Asen and Jebet left. Hey human kid, just tell me if you have anything. Anyway, it was you who released me from the God realm. If you need any help, I will try my best to help you. After Supreme Kai and Jebet left, the old Supreme Kai spoke in a serious tone. The human kid in front of him must have some intentions to talk to himself alone. Then I'll just say it. I know that the old Supreme Kai has a very powerful superpower, which can help others develop their potential and greatly enhance the strength of those whose potential has been developed. So can I ask the old Supreme Kai to help me develop my potential? Son Goten also had a smile on his face and said in a very polite tone. Although he can use coercive means to let the old Supreme Kai help him develop his potential. But that's not his character. There is no need to rely on your own strength to force others to do things. Because there are many ways to solve problems, and threatening to solve things by force is actually the most inferior method. However, in this world where strength is paramount, sometimes one must speak with fists. What? Who are you? You actually know that I can help others develop their potential. After hearing Son Goten's words, the old Supreme Kai showed a look of shock on his face. One must know that he has been sealed in the Excalibur for an unknown number of years. Even the current Supreme Kai doesn't know anything about him at all, but this little kid in front of him actually knows that he has the superpower to help others develop their potential. This is so strange. How on earth did he know? Listen to what I've been told. Son Goten said perfunctorily. Impossible. In this universe, it is impossible for anyone to know about this. The old Supreme Kai immediately shook his head and said negatively. There are not many people who know these things, and those people are simply not accessible to a human being. Nothing is impossible. If I told you that the one who sealed you in the Excalibur told me, would you believe me? Son Goten continued to fool around. Nanny? A look of panic suddenly appeared on the old Supreme Kai's face. Those slightly squinted eyes widened in an instant, staring closely at Son Goten. Seems like trying to see through Son Goten. But unfortunately, Son Goten always had a faint smile on his face, and he couldn't see anything else at all. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. You are just a human being, and you have no chance to get in touch with that adult. The old Supreme Kai watched for a long time, then shook his head like a rattle. That adult is an existence that not many people know about. Even the current Supreme Kai doesn't necessarily know the existence of that adult. Not to mention a mere human kid, but the little kid in front of him was so confident, which made him feel like he was lying. The one who sealed you is gods of destruction Beerus. What did you say that he sealed you up because he was afraid of you? I think he sealed you up because he was afraid that he would be implicated if you died, right? What mean thing do you think Beerus would do if he heard what you just bragged about? Son Goten still had a faint smile on his face and said in a flat tone, as a time traveler, he is naturally very clear about these things. At this time, the old Supreme Kai's complexion has become quite ugly. You actually really know the existence of Master Beerus. The old Supreme Kai suddenly looked like a deflated ball, and his momentum softened. This is outrageous. This human child actually knew the existence of Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus. And from his tone, it seemed that he knew Lord Beerus and himself very well. Or even a symbiotic relationship between Supreme Kai and Gods of Destruction. What's more important now is that if Lord Beerus hears those bragging words he just said, it will be troublesome. Maybe countless planets will suffer again, and I will definitely be sealed into the Excalibur again. He had had enough of those days. So now, can you help me develop my potential? Looking at the dazed old Supreme Kai, Son Goten asked again with a smile. The tone and look are so harmless to humans and animals. All right, I'll help you develop your potential. The old Supreme Kai stared at Son Goten and could only nod in the end. He has no choice, and since this guy can become friends with the current Supreme Kai, it means that he should not be a bad guy. Even if it helps him improve his strength, it will not pose a threat to this universe. Then thank you, old Supreme Kai. Son Goten nodded his thanks. The expected result, there are actually many ways to get the old Supreme Kai to agree to this matter. After simple preparation, for a while, the old Supreme Kai began to help Son Goten develop his potential. According to the judgment of the old Supreme Kai, Son Goten's potential is very strong. It takes at least 5 days to develop the potential, but Son Goten is in no rush right now. 5 days is no problem at all. It's just that in the underworld under the jurisdiction of King Yama, a shocking event happened at this time. 038 disasters in the underworld. Waves of evil thought condensed by evil, seeking flowers for evaluation tickets, because a large number of evil souls entered the underworld during this period. The soul cleaning device in the underworld began to overload. More and more evil energy has been washed from those evil souls. And guarding the soul cleaning device is a not very responsible spiritual brother. Just listen to high songs and dance high. As a result, the soul cleaning device exploded directly, and countless evil energies that had been cleaned from the evil souls spewed out, all got into the body of the spiritual brother. Therefore, the wave of evil thoughts was born. After the birth of the evil thought wave, a layer of enchantment was directly built in the underworld. It is impossible for outsiders to enter the underworld at all, but those who have died in the underworld can freely enter the real world. At this time, on the planet of the Great Realm King, a fighting competition similar to the #1 Budokai in the world is being held. At this time, Son Goku, who was participating in the competition in the ring, and Son Gohan and Piccolo, who were watching the competition in the audience, suddenly felt a huge evil atmosphere. Son Goku and Vegeta in the ring also stopped suddenly. Did you feel it? Kakarot, a very powerful evil aura. It doesn't seem to be weaker than us at all. Vegeta turned his head and said to Son Goku, "Well, I feel it too, Vegeta. It's really strong. I'm already a little excited." Son Goku nodded with excitement on his face. Having lived in the underworld for more than 8 years, he hadn't felt such a powerful aura for a long time. Even the most powerful warrior Rib Rice in the Southern Galaxy is very different from this breath. He even felt that even if he became Super Saiyan 3, he might not be able to defeat this evil aura. Of course, this was also the reason why he was extremely excited. It is a joy to meet such a powerful opponent in the underworld. After all, he hasn't continued to fight with all his strength for a long time. At this time, Son Gohan and Piccolo also felt the evil energy. It was too strong, too huge. So as long as the strength is a little bit stronger and the perception is a little bit sharper, the warrior can feel the appearance of that evil aura. And this is because the Great Realm King naturally received a request for help from King Yama. Yen Luowang claimed that the underworld suffered an unprecedented disaster. Now he is trapped in the enchantment of the underworld, and he cannot use his authority of King Yama at all. Those evil fighters from hell have connected to the real world. Start wanting destruction of the real world. Goku, Vegeta, and Rib Rice and Gohan. I just received a request for help from King Yen Luo, saying that a very big disaster happened in the underworld. A super powerful evil guy has appeared, and now you should immediately help King Yama solve this crisis in the underworld. King Daikai spoke to Son Goku and the others very seriously. Because of the evil breath just now, he could also clearly feel it. Very powerful. not even weaker than super fighters like Son Goku. Uncle Yama? Hemp, wrap it on me. Son Goku nodded immediately without hesitation. As long as there is a battle, as long as there is a strong opponent, he can't help being excited. This kind of battle is absolutely impossible to miss. Stop kidding, Kakarot. That guy will definitely be defeated by lousy Vegeta. Vegeta clenched his fists with an extremely confident look on his face. Hey, I won't let you, Vegeta. Son Goku grinned and said to Vegeta without giving in. With such a formidable opponent, he must fight hard. These two guys haven't changed at all. They still like to compete so much. Piccolo looked at the two of them, shook his head helplessly, and said, "You must know that the enemy they are facing this time is very powerful. It can be perceived from the evil breath just now. But listening to these two guys, they obviously have no plans to join forces, but to use their own strength to deal with the next enemy. Okay, let's go to the underworld. If you go late, the situation in the underworld will be even worse." Great Realm King hurriedly spoke to Son Goku and Vegeta. "Okay, everyone grab my shoulders, we'll go right away." After finishing speaking, Son Goku's index and middle fingers were placed between his eyebrows. Begin to perceive the breath of King Yama. It's just that King Yama's aura is very weak at this time. It seems that the situation is indeed very critical. Son Gohan and Piccolo also quickly jumped onto the ring. "I am coming too." Rib Rice followed immediately. After all, his power is not weaker than Vegeta and Son Gohan. Can help a little in the past too. Immediately afterwards, the bodies of the five people faltered for a while and disappeared on the planet of the Great Realm King. When they appeared again, the five of them had already arrived in the underworld. Just seeing the huge, colorful candies all over the sky, and King Yin Luo's palace has been completely wrapped up by a powerful barrier. "Let's fight together, break the barrier, and rescue Uncle Yama." Looking at King Yama trapped in the barrier, Son Goku immediately spoke. Then he folded his hands together and made a signature Kamehameha wave. Son Gohan and Piccolo also immediately came up with their own big moves. Same goes for Vegeta and Rib Rice. Kamehameha wave, ultimate flash, magic penetration light killing cannon, super energy bomb. The five people took out their most powerful attack methods at the same time. It's just that when these energies hit the barrier, there were only slight ripples. Soon those energies were all absorbed by the enchantment. What's going on? Our attacks seem to be completely useless against this thing. Vegeta frowned and said with a bit of solemn tone, "You must know that the simultaneous attack energy of the five of them is very powerful. It didn't cause any damage to the enchantment in front of me, which is really outrageous. Our energy has been absorbed by the barrier. It doesn't look like it's working?" Piccolo saw it right away. All their energy just now was absorbed by the barrier. If this continues, they will not be able to break the enchantment at all. Goku, the culprit of all this, is on the roof. Only after getting rid of that guy, the barrier will disappear and the underworld will return to its original appearance. At this time, King Yama's weak voice also sounded. "Roof?" Everyone quickly jumped up and looked towards the roof. Then I saw a khaki-colored cutie. It looks dull and looks like a plasticine toy. Does this kind of stupid guy really have that much power? Let Labor and Capital Vegeta get rid of you in an instant. Looking at the dumb khaki cutie in front of him, the corner of Vegeta's mouth raised a confident arc. He pointed to the tip of his nose with his thumb. Generally, Vegeta will turn into a Speed Party Tragedy Tower within 10 seconds if he makes this kind of action. Then, regardless of other people's objections, he jumped out and punched Xian Yinbua directly. Evil Thought Wave, Evil Thought Wave. Xian Yinbua clapped his hands, and the moment he saw Vegeta rushing over, his eyes suddenly changed. He slapped it out with a direct slap. Snapped! Before Vegeta could react, he was slapped and sent flying. Then it hit the colored candy heavily. Everyone, don't underestimate the enemy. That guy is very powerful. Piccolo immediately opened his mouth to remind everyone. Being able to slap Vegeta into the air with a single slap shows the strength of this guy. It looks like it's going to be brought down to fight. Son Goten's expression is also rare and serious. Then the body flashed and appeared directly on the ground. and the wave of evil thoughts also followed. 039 The potential is successfully developed. The king of the great realm asks for help. Ask for flower evaluation tickets. The battle of hell will soon begin. And at this time in the Supreme Kai world, the old Supreme Kai has started to help Son Goten develop his potential. As time passed by, every minute and every second, the old king's expression became more and more dignified. Because he can feel Son Goten's potential is very unfathomable. It feels like a bottomless abyss. He can't fully develop this potential at all. But now that Son Goten has been promised, let's try to bring out his potential as much as possible. Time passed day by day. 5 days passed in a blink of an eye. At this time, the old Supreme Kai was already sweating profusely. In the end, I couldn't hold on anymore and sat down on the ground. This kind of performance seems to be completely different from when he helped Son Gohan develop his potential. Because when he helped Son Gohan develop his potential, after the potential was developed, the old Supreme Kai was still alive and well. In the end, I still don't forget the skin all at once. But now he looked haggard, as if he had lost a lot of energy. Son Goten, potential development is complete. The potential you have is unfathomable, but with my ability, I can't help you guide it all out. The old Supreme Kai told Son Goten truthfully with a haggard face. Seeing the old Supreme Kai with an ugly face, Supreme Kai and Jebet also hurried forward to help. Son Goten also slowly opened his eyes. Then he looked at the old Supreme Kai and said, "It's okay. Thank you, Lord Supreme Kai." Then he stood up and felt the strength in his body. It was indeed much scarier than before. Once again, a qualitative improvement has occurred. This time, the basic combat power was improved. This also means that after his transformation, his strength will become even more outrageous. Now he is more confident that he can easily kill Majin Buu after he becomes Chuanchao again. Even if his strength is increased by 10 times, it is absolutely impossible to be his opponent. Goten, try your current strength. Just let me have a look. After a brief rest, the old Supreme Kai said to Son Goten, "This kid has such unfathomable potential. I don't know how strong he is now after developing his potential. To tell the truth, he would love to see it. Forehead, Master Ancestor, why don't you just forget about it?" Supreme Kai Asin's face froze instantly, and he quickly spoke to dissuade him. A few days ago, after Goten's transformation, the Excalibur was devastated, and the two of them just finished repairing it in the past 2 days. Now that Goten's potential has been developed, his strength must be even stronger. At that time, maybe the entire God realm can be completely destroyed by just a breath. Aha! Jebet also kept nodding like a chicken pecking at rice. The fear from before still lingers in my heart. Cut! Look at the two of you who have never seen the big world. Goten, ignore them. Let me see your strength. The old Supreme Kai glared at Supreme Kai and Jebiter with contempt, and then continued to talk to Son Goten. Okay. Son Goten also had no choice but to nod. Then his face instantly became serious. Seeing Son Goten's serious expression, Supreme Kai Sinjabit hurriedly drove the old Supreme Kai thousands of miles away. While clenching his fists, a simultaneous white experience erupted from his body instantly. Ha! After a roar, the entire God realm began to tremble again. The movement this time seems to be more terrifying than the last time, when he became the legendary Super Saiyan. But it was not as exciting as last time, so Son Goten was able to control his power perfectly. After simply feeling his current basic combat power, Son Goten immediately withdrew his breath. But even so, the God realm was still shattered and dilapidated. Supreme Kai and Jebet wanted to cry, but had no tears. Looks like I'll be busy for a few more days. The old Supreme Kai blinked his eyes, completely dumbfounded. The power of Son Goten just now is indeed too strong, unprecedentedly strong. The worries and fears of those two boys just now are understandable now. Ha! Sorry I made God realm like this again. Son Goten scratched his head and said with an embarrassed smile. And just now, he simply raised his breath and sensed his own strength. Didn't quite push the power to the limit. Otherwise, it is estimated that the God realm will be destroyed even more horribly. It's okay, it's okay. Anyway, Jebit and I don't have much to do. Supreme Kai Asin could only say helplessly, no way. Who made the ancestors insist on seeing Goten's strength? And he could feel that Goten had been merciful just now, and he didn't release all his strength. Because there is no transformation at all. Beep beep. And at this moment, the crystal ball placed on the table not far away suddenly flickered. Supreme Kai Asin hurried over. It's a video call from the Great Realm King. Then Supreme Kai quickly connected the call. Great Realm King, what do you want from me? Supreme Kai asked directly. Master Supreme Kai, something terrible has happened in the underworld. Just a few days ago, a monster made of countless evil thoughts appeared, and his strength is outrageous. All the fighters on our side are no match for him, so I want to ask for help. The Great Realm King also spoke directly, because the current situation is far beyond their control. Goku and Pork Ribs teamed up, and they were no match for Xian Yimbo at all. And even if Goku becomes the form of Super Saiyan 3, he will be easily defeated by the evil wave. When there was nothing to do, King Kai suddenly recommended someone. That person is Son Goten, the second son of Son Goku. It is said that he has a stronger power than Son Goku, and may be able to deal with evil thoughts, because Son Goten followed Supreme Kai before. So now he comes to ask. You must know that if the evil wave cannot be resolved, it will completely disrupt the order of the underworld. At that time, the whole world will be in chaos. The souls of dead people cannot enter the underworld and will wander around in the human world at that time. This kind of thing is scary to think about. How could this happen? Son Goku? This name sounds so familiar. Supreme Kai wondered for a while, then suddenly remembered that the name was very similar to Goten. Then he looked at Son Goten, asked, Goten, Mr. Goku, just mentioned by the king of the Great Realm? Son Goku is my father who died 8 years ago. Son Goten replied, whether he admits it or not, it is true that Son Goku is Son Goten's father. No one could change this fact. So, that's how it is? Supreme Kai suddenly realized. Sir Supreme Kai, according to what King Kai said just now, the Son Goten beside you has superpowers. Perhaps he is the only one who can stop the wave of evil thoughts. So I hope he can lend a helping hand to solve this crisis in the underworld. After the Great Realm King heard the chat between Supreme Kai and Son Goten, he said straight to the point again. Because they really can't help it. In the underworld, the most powerful is Goku. Even Goku would be easily defeated by Xian Yimbo. The underworld and their realm kings are completely unable to deal with Xian Yimbo. 040 Son Goten refuses to help. Son Goku's last plan, fusion. Seeking flower evaluation tickets. Is that so? It seems that the matter is indeed serious, but I have to discuss this matter with Goten, and I can't make the decision. Supreme Kai didn't decide for himself, because he knew he couldn't be the master of Son Goten. If you decide on your own, and Goten is unwilling at that time, it may cause unnecessary trouble. And it's disrespectful to Goten. Goten, you heard what the great Kai said just now. Perhaps you are the only one who can deal with that wave of evil thoughts. I don't know what you think. Afterwards, Supreme Kai looked at Son Goten and asked. If he followed his thinking, he naturally wanted Goten to deal with that evil thought wave. Because in this way, it is possible to avoid causing the loss of life. After all, when creatures from the underworld enter the real world, it will definitely cause a series of panics. Then the world will be in chaos. Sorry, I can't help you with this matter. The real world and the underworld are two completely different worlds, and we should follow the laws of natural development. This is what my father and the others said before. The earth was also in extreme danger at that time, but they did not choose to resurrect to protect the earth. In their words, it is necessary to follow the law of natural development. There is no need for the dead to continue to be resurrected, so there is no need for the living to interfere with the affairs of the underworld. Of course, this is my personal opinion. If you want to help, that's your business. After all, you are gods, and these things are under your control. Son Goten replied in a flat tone, although he does not reject fighting evil thoughts. Maybe you can even pick up Xian Yimbo's various superpowers by fighting Xian Yimbo. But before Son Goku, they said, should follow the law of natural development. then people in the real world naturally don't need to go to the underworld to solve the crisis for them. Maybe he still has some grudges about what happened a few years ago. After all, the Earth a few years ago was indeed very dangerous. Once Cell returns to Earth, it will be the end of Earth. At that time, he can only be killed by Cell. Fortunately, Cell has not appeared in the past few years. But Son Goten is not relieved. Of course, Chi-Chi and Bulma are also included. They still can't understand the thoughts of Son Goku and Vegeta at that time. Obviously, they could use the Dragon Ball to resurrect and protect the Earth, but they still decided to let the situation develop naturally. This after hearing Son Goten's cold tone. Supreme Kai was also at a loss for words. Unexpectedly, Goten refused so simply, but with the strength of him and Jebbit, I'm afraid they can't solve the problem of the underworld at all. Great Kai, Goten can't help you with this matter. So you guys first think of a way to stabilize that wave of evil thoughts, and I will also think of a way here. Supreme Kai could only reply awkwardly. Although he is a distinguished Supreme Kai, but after all, his strength is limited, and some things are simply not what he can do. All right, Master Supreme Kai. The Great Realm King could only interrupt the call. It seems that if you want to get rid of the evil thoughts, you still have to rely on Goku and Ribs. After hanging up the video call, Supreme Kai Asin immediately began to use the magic crystal ball to watch what happened in the underworld. And at this time in the hell of the underworld, the sky is full of giant colorful candies. The figures of Son Goku and Vegeta soon appeared in sight. At this time, the 5 people were covered with scars. After several days of wheel tactics, not only did Xian Yinbua not consume any of his physical energy, instead, they fell into a very passive situation. And this is why Xian Yinbua didn't want to get rid of them. Maybe that guy wanted to play. That's why they weren't killed. Goku, Son Goten has denied my request. He just said that people in the real world should not interfere in the affairs of the underworld and should let the people in the underworld solve it by themselves and follow the laws of natural development. I'm really sorry. We can't help at all. Now we can only rely on you to deal with Xian Yinbua. The voice of the Great Realm King quickly rang in Son Goku's mind. Son Goku and Vegeta frowned suddenly. They are all aware of Goten's strength. With his help, the wave of evil thoughts in front of them may be able to be eliminated. But unexpectedly, Goten refused. Can Goten resist fighting such a powerful opponent? Son Goku was a little surprised. After all, Saiyan is warlike by nature. Goten has the blood of Saiyan, and naturally has a warlike nature. Unexpectedly, such a powerful opponent, Goten has no interest. Idiot Kakarot. Can't you hear that kid Son Goten's words are very familiar? That's what we said to Bulma and the others 8 years ago. That little brat is obviously brooding over our refusal to be resurrected. Smelly brat. Vegeta immediately cursed at Son Goku because he was too clear about the sentence that the eldest sister relayed just now. This is what they said to Bulma and Chi-Chi 8 years ago when they were about to revive them with the Dragon Ball. I didn't expect Goten, a brat, to hold grudges like this. Did we ever say that? I forgot. Son Goku scratched the back of his head. Apparently, he didn't remember saying something like that 8 years ago. It does appear to be so. Goten and Gohan have completely different personalities. Now it seems that Xian Yinbua can only be solved by ourselves. Piccolo also nodded and said, although Goten is also very kind in nature, but his kindness is completely different from Gohan's. Clearly, Goten is a man who likes to hold a grudge. Since this is the case, there is only one way. Create a super soldier by using the fusion request of the Metamo star. Son Goku's expression became serious in an instant. With the strength of a few of them alone, even if they join forces, they will definitely not be able to defeat Xian Yinbua. But through the fusion method of the Metamor stars, a super soldier can be created. At that time, Xian Yinbua can definitely be easily killed, and he and Vegeta are the most suitable candidates for fusion. Nanny? Fusion. Hearing the word fusion, Vegeta's face suddenly changed, then showed a repulsive look. It is absolutely impossible for the majestic Saiyan Prince, the proud warrior, to agree to such a thing as fusion. Vegeta, the fusion between the two of us works best. Son Goku said to Vegeta very seriously, because they know each other very well. Vegeta's understanding of himself completely surpassed Gohan's. So Vegeta is the best candidate for fusion. 041 Big Fat Man Empty Rice. Fusion failed. Seeking flower evaluation tickets. Everyone also looked at Vegeta at this time. They were waiting for Vegeta's answer. If Vegeta is really willing to carry out fusion with Goku, then maybe he can really kill Sien Yinbua. Because now they really have nothing to do. Even if 5 people join forces, it is impossible to be the opponent of Sien Yinbua. Giggle. Vegeta gritted her teeth angrily. To be with Kakarot fusion. This is something he will never tolerate. Even if he ever mates with anyone, it can't be Kakarot. Stop PG me off by saying such stupid things in front of me, Kakarot. If you want me to fuse with you, then I'd rather die. Vegeta said to Son Goku with a vicious tone. It's not that he said harsh words, but it is true. If Kakarot fusion had to be able to defeat Sien Yinbua, then he would rather be killed by Sien Yinbua. More importantly, he is already dead now. Vegeta, don't say that. Seeing Vegeta so angry, Son Goku muttered softly. Then he continued, if you don't want to, then forget it. Although he and Vegeta are 2 people, fusion will definitely give birth to the most perfect fighter. But if Vegeta is so against fusion, there is no way. After all, it requires the willingness of 2 people, and it requires 2 people to make fusion actions at the same time. As long as one party is unwilling, then fusion cannot do it. Snort. Vegeta turned around arrogantly, crossing her hands on her chest. At this time, Son Gohan came up. Then he said to Son Goku seriously, Father, let's do fusion. Although the effect may not be as good as the fusion between you and Uncle Vegeta, it should be able to defeat Sien Yinbua. Based on fusion, in fact, Son Gohan and Son Goku are not very contradictory. As long as the immediate crisis can be resolved, as long as everyone can be safe and sound, then fusion is just a trivial matter. Besides, the power he has now is no weaker than that of Uncle Vegeta. So even after fusion, it shouldn't be too weak. It can only be the Son Goku nodded. Although Vegeta is the best target for fusion, Gohan is also very strong. After fusion, their strength will definitely become even stronger. Before, he had seen the fusion technique of the Metamor Star at the previous Underworld Martial Arts Conference. The 2 people after fusion are much stronger than before. Therefore, he and Gohan fusion should be more than enough to deal with Sien Yinbua in the future. Rumble. And just when the 2 had just made up their minds, suddenly a violent explosion sounded, and Sien Yinbua's body appeared in front of everyone again. At this time, Sien Yinbua is no longer the chubby and stupid guy at the beginning. Instead, it changed into another form. The whole body is covered with red skin, and there is a layer of light purple armor like armor on the body. There was a devilish smile on the corner of his mouth. Son, you and Gohan, hurry up and perform fusion. Leave this guy to us temporarily, and we will try our best to help you delay time. Piccolo clenched his fist and said to Son Goku and Son Gohan. Although he knew very well that he was not the opponent of Sien Yinbua at all, but there is no other way now. Can only help Goku and Gohan as much as possible to gain fusion time. Okay, then I'm counting on you guys, Son Goku said to the 3 of them. Then he grabbed Son Gohan with his index and middle fingers between his eyebrows. In the next second, the bodies of the 2 disappeared directly. Chi. After Sien Yinbua saw the bodies of Son Goku and Son Gohan disappear, he let out a sharp cry. Then directly grew Piccolo and Vegeta, and they attacked the past. Damn BD. Even without fusion's tricks, Vegeta can beat you. Huh. Vegeta seemed to be stimulated by something. After roaring, he transformed into a Super Saiyan and rushed towards the evil thought wave. Piccolo and Rib Rice burst out at the same time and joined the battle. But the strength of the 3 of them is too weak compared to Sien Yinbua. Almost instantly, he was sent flying by the wave of evil thoughts. After Son Goku used instant transmission, he was sent to King Yama. Gohan, get ready for fusion next. You've seen fusion move before, we only have one chance. Because after a fusion failure, we have to wait for half an hour, and this half hour is enough for the wave of evil thoughts to kill us. Son Goku said to Son Gohan very seriously, "They only have one chance. If fusion fails, then they will definitely be completely killed by the wave of evil thoughts." "I see, Dad." Son Gohan also nodded seriously. The two then do a strange dance move and then start fusion. Fusion together. The voices of the two are very harmonious. In the next second, a white light instantly enveloped the bodies of the two of them. 2 seconds later, the white light disappeared. Son Goku and Son Gohan are gone. But in the same place, a big fat man appeared. Ponies and Metamor. Clearly their fusion failed. After all, I have never received this kind of training before. Moreover, it is not so easy to keep all movements and breaths completely consistent. And the situation at this time makes people unable to calm down at all. It's over. The fusion of the two of them failed. The Great Realm King and the other 4 Realm Kings panicked instantly. Fusion is their only hope. Now there is a difference between Son Goku and Son Gohan's fusion. In this case, they will have to wait for another half an hour. But now the battle has begun again. Xian Yinbua also seemed to lose interest in this boring battle and began to deal with it seriously. In this way, half an hour is enough for Xian Yinbua to kill everyone. And Kong Fan, after fusion, didn't seem to realize how they failed. Instead, with a flash of his body, he rushed into the battlefield. After everyone saw this big fat man, they were shocked and fell into deep thought instantly. Is the big fat man in front of you a product after fusion? Why do you feel so unreliable? Twitter, what the hell is this? It's a good thing I didn't fuse with that idiot Kakarot. Seeing fusion's failure, Vegeta said happily. Looks like something went wrong with fusion. It's over. Piccolo and pork rib rice also turned ugly in an instant. After fusion, Kong Fan is full of confidence. Pointing at Xian Yinbua's nose, he provocatively said, Hey, next, Lord Kong Fan will send you to hell." It seems that the products of fusion's failure will become arrogant. Piccolo and Vegeta subconsciously covered their faces. This chubby little fat man looks so FG embarrassing, too shameful. 042 Resurrected Frieza. Klein is upgraded again, seeking flower evaluation tickets, and at this time in the Supreme Kai world. Supreme Kai Asin also looked dumbfounded. 2 people with such perfect bodies turned into a little fat man after fusion. Obviously, their fusion technique failed. With this posture, it is impossible to defeat Xian Yinbua, but he couldn't think of a good way to deal with the evil thought wave at all. "Master Supreme Kai, I have been bothering you for so long. I think I should leave too. There is a riot in the underworld, so the Earth will inevitably be affected. I have to go to the Earth to check the situation." Son Goten didn't pay too much attention to what happened in the underworld, because these things have nothing to do with him. Son Goku and Vegeta, they are dead. No matter how dead he is, he shouldn't be able to die anywhere. But those who survive on the Earth must rely on his protection. At least Mommy and Bulma can't be hurt. All right, then let Jebbit take you back. It might be a little faster that way. Supreme Kai could only nod in agreement at this moment, although he very much hopes that Goten can help solve the affairs of the underworld. But looking at the current situation, Goten is obviously unwilling to help. Then they can only think of other ways. And it is true that many riots and crises are happening on the Earth now. More needs Goten to protect. No need. I'll go back by myself. Son Goten shook his head, because he had already learned Jebbit's instant transmission. The moment the voice fell, the body swayed a few times. Immediately afterwards, he disappeared directly into the Supreme Kai world. What? It's instant transmission. How did Goten get instant transmission? Jebbit immediately discovered that Son Goten had just used the ability of instant transmission. But it shouldn't be if he knows instant transmission. Then why was he trapped in the universe in the first place? Goten is such a surprise. Supreme Kai Asin is also puzzled. And this time on Earth. Whoosh! Son Goten's body instantly appeared in midair. At this time, the Earth has completely fallen into chaos. Those who have been dead for a long time have been resurrected. The underworld and the real world have been completely connected. There were countless troops and tanks on the streets that were originally full of traffic. Go back to hell? Looking at the mighty army and tanks below, Son Goten blasted out an energy wave directly. Rumble! The troops and tanks on the ground were instantly swallowed by the energy wave and disappeared without a trace. Hum hum! Oh ho 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 ho! At this moment, a very recognizable laughter sounded. That smug laugh. Who else but Universe Emperor Frieza? Son Goten looked up immediately. Then there was the sighting of Frieza and his Jinui special forces. Frieza. It's interesting. Son Goten pursed his lips. A small smile appeared on his face. Then the body flashed, and time appeared in front of Frieza. The moment he saw Son Goten, Frieza's smile froze instantly. Son Goku? No, it's not Son Goku. Is it Son Goku's son? The kid in front of him looks exactly like the original Son Goku. And even if Son Goku turns into ashes, he will definitely know him. This brat is not Son Goku, so it must be Son Goku's son. It's great. Killing Son Goku's son can be regarded as a wish of his own. It's been a while, Frieza. Looking at the surprised Frieza, Son Goten also greeted with a smile. Although Frieza is a villain, Son Goten doesn't really hate the guy. His style of doing things vividly interprets the real villain, never pretending to be a gentleman like Frost in the 6th universe. But he is very gentleman to his subordinates. After the name of each subordinate, the word Mr. must be added. I have to say that Frieza is a very personal villain. Oh, you brat is Son Goku's son, right? It's an honor that even you have heard my name. Frieza put his extremely gentlemanly right hand on his chest and bowed at 90 degrees. But the moment he raised his head, his eyes became extremely fierce. As much as I hate to admit it, I am Son Goku's son. Son Goten still had a smile on his face. Whoosh! At this moment, a clear, piercing sound suddenly sounded. Goten! What followed was a familiar voice. It's Kling. In the next second, Kellen's body appeared directly beside Son Goten. You're finally back, Goten. I can feel that you have undergone a qualitative change. Presumably your strength has greatly improved. Kellen looked at Son Goten and then said with a little surprise. From Goten's body, he felt something strange. It's a feeling I didn't have before. It seems that Goten's strength has improved a lot. You are not bad, Mr. Kling. It seems that Aunt Bulma has upgraded you again. Son Goten glanced at the sturdy Kellen beside him, smiled and said, although he couldn't sense Klin's aura, he knew that Klin must have upgraded again. The current strength is definitely much stronger than it was 2 or 3 months ago. Well, the original transformation was not completed. It was just a device loaded with infinite energy. Anyway, I have become an artificial human. This time, Bulma has completely transformed me. Kellen didn't hide anything, just nodded and said. The last time he fought with Cell, he realized that that kind of simple transformation couldn't make him stronger at all. There was no way he could help Goten either. So after solving Cell, he went through a 2-month transformation. The strength has indeed been improved qualitatively, because when Bulma repaired Android 16 before, he got a lot of ideas and inspiration from Dr. Gero. Therefore, her talent in this area has also been greatly improved. Even so, he knew there was still a big gap between him and Goten. But at least when facing some less powerful opponents, you cannot bother Goten to do it. Looking at Kling, who has completely changed, Son Goten's heart is actually not very good. No one would be willing to accept the pain of being skinned and boned to be transformed into an artificial human. But sometimes, circumstances force them to make such choices and sacrifices. Nanny? That little booger that Namek saw? The nasty little booger has come back to life. The moment he saw Kellen, Frieza's eyes burst out with extremely fierce killing intent. Because he felt that this little booger was the culprit who made him so embarrassed. If it wasn't for this little booger, and I didn't crush him, Son Goku wouldn't be able to become Super Saiyan. It is impossible for him to be beaten by wild monkeys for so long by Son Goku. Even less likely to be chopped into pieces by that Saiyan brat on Earth. The origin of all the pain I endured was caused by this little booger. It's great to see him again now. This time, he can finally be trampled to death, to vent the inhuman torture in hell for so many years. This time, absolutely no one can save him. 043 Kellen's highlight moment, killing Frieza with one punch, asking for flower evaluation tickets. Just when Frieza looked at Klin, Clint also raised his head and glanced at Frisia and his Jinui special forces. Then his eyes became indifferent for an instant. He said calmly, "Frisia, although I don't know how you were resurrected, I advise you to get out of the earth. Otherwise, I'll let you die on earth again." Kellen's voice was extremely cold, but it was full of confidence and command. Because now his strength is no longer comparable to that of Frisia. Although more than 10 years ago, when he saw Frisia, he would be scared to death. But now, he doesn't care about Frisia at all. Even if the previous lightning cell was revived, he now has enough confidence to deal with it. "Nah, Nanny?" Frisia was dumbfounded for a moment. There was a look of surprise and disbelief on his face. That timid little booger in Namek used to tremble with fright when he saw himself, but now he dares to speak like that. This world seems to have become outrageous. Cluck! But after a moment of surprise, Frisia gritted her teeth angrily. A mere booger is like an ant in his eyes. How dare you talk to him in such a tone now? Looks like it's been too long. These bastards have forgotten the horror of Universe Emperor Frisia. In this case, let yourself help them remember the memories. Gee, Bart, you two go and give me that little booger to play with me slowly. As for Son Goku's son, just give it to me and let me take good care of him." Frisia immediately said to Keith and Bart behind him. Of course, there is also a frog at Frisia's feet. It is not difficult to see that this guy is Captain Jinyu, who used to have great glory. But at this time, it seems that it is not very popular. "Okay, King Frisia." Keith and Bart nodded, and then took a step forward. There was a fierce look in Kellen's eyes. "Finally, I can let go of the killing on this lowly planet. It has been a long time since I experienced the thrill of killing. Goten, give me Frisia and these guys. I have an old score to settle with Frisia." Kellen turned his head and glanced at Son Goten, then spoke. On Namek more than 10 years ago, Frisia was indeed a nightmare for him. But now he is no longer the same as before. In his eyes, Frisia, the Emperor of the Universe who had been infinitely glorious in the past, was completely vulnerable to a single blow. And at that time, this guy crushed him, and today he just happened to be able to settle that account. "Well, I leave it to you." Son Goten nodded. He knew that Kellen wanted to feel his current power, and between him and Frisia, there is indeed an old score to settle. "Little booger, feel the fear from hell." At this moment, Keith and Bart suddenly gave a sharp roar. He rushed directly towards Kellen. In their eyes at this moment, Kellen was just a little sheep that they could only play with at will. Just at the moment when their bodies just moved, Kellen's figure suddenly appeared in front of them. Apart from anything else, the two energy balls directly destroyed the bodies of the two. "Nanny?" "No. Impossible. Lord Geese and Lord Bart were actually killed by that little bald head." Seeing that Geese and Bart were instantly killed, the universe people behind Frisia suddenly showed a look of horror. You must know that the combat effectiveness of Geese and Bart is as high as about 50,000. Unexpectedly, the little bald head of this low-level planet can kill Lord Geese and Lord Bart in an instant. This is completely beyond their imagination, and it also made them fall into fear in an instant. This level of existence is simply not comparable to them. "Cluck, damn little booger." Frisia also clenched her fist tightly. Unexpectedly, the little booger, an ant-like existence more than 10 years ago, has actually improved to this level of strength. Can instantly kill Keith and Bart. No wonder he was so arrogant just now. "Next, it's your turn, Frisia." Clint's eyes were still extremely indifferent, and he didn't have any emotional fluctuations because he killed Geese and Bart. Because in the past 10 years, he has experienced more powerful opponents. Those guys in the Jinui Special Forces are not opponents at all. Little booger who doesn't know how to live or die. You don't think that you can get carried away in front of me by killing rubbish like Geese and Bart after you improve your strength a little bit. How dare you talk to me like that? Then this time, I won't let you die as easily as last time. I will let you die little by little in fear." Frisia grinned angrily, staring at Kellen with angry eyes. It's just a little booger. How dare to speak so brazenly in front of him? So today, she must let her feel what is called hellish fear. The moment the angry voice fell, Frisia directly stretched out a finger. The scarlet energy instantly condensed at the fingertips. Just in the next second, Kling's body was suddenly displayed in place, and Frieza didn't see clearly at all. When he found out, Kellen had already arrived in front of him. "Go back to your hell, Frieza!" Krillin roared. Then he punched out directly. "Nanny?" Frieza suddenly turned pale with shock. It's just that there is no chance or time to react at all. Boom! The next moment, Frieza's body was directly blasted by a punch, turn into dust, and disappear. Master Frieza was killed. Run! The legion behind Frieza saw that Frieza was killed, and their faces were terrified. Then they fled in all directions like locusts. After killing Frieza with one punch, Kellen let out a long sigh of relief. The body is trembling slightly. Finally, kill Frieza. This is of great significance to Kling. Son Goten can fully understand Kellen's mood at this time. 044 Videl. I'm here to apologize this time. Asking for flower comments, Son Goten also walked behind Kellen at this time, and then patted him on the shoulder lightly. Asked, "Are you all right?" "Fine. It just never occurred to me that one day I'd be able to kill Frieza." Kellen turned his head and said with a smile. He really hadn't thought about this before. Even after the body is transformed and becomes an artificial human, because Frieza died a long time ago, and it never occurred to me that this guy would come back to life. Okay, now is not the time to be emotional. There was a riot in the underworld. So many evil souls went to the world to make trouble, so we still have a lot to do. Son Goten continued. Although the ones who ran out were all small ones, there were too many of them, and they had spread across every city. It would take a little time to completely send them all back to hell. Clint nodded. Then the two split into two groups and began to send these evil souls back to hell one by one. In just 1 hour, Son Goten and Kling had cleaned up all the evil spirits. Son Goten also returned to the place just now, but at this time, his face was slightly dignified. Because when destroying these evil spirits, he didn't find Broly's soul. Broly had obviously been killed by himself before. Logically speaking, he is definitely an evil soul, but this time he did not appear on Earth. Then there are only two possibilities, or that guy's vitality is too tenacious, and he didn't die at all in the previous planet explosion, or he went to the southern galaxy after his resurrection. If this guy is still alive, it's really a problem. After fusion the blood of the legendary Super Saiyan, he is more aware of the power of super fighters. Given enough time, Broly would grow into a formidable opponent. Whoosh! And at this moment, Kellen also came back. "Goten, all the evil souls on my side have been sent back to hell." Kling spoke to Son Goten. I'll go back to Bowsy Mountain first. After being out for such a long time, I guess my mother is a little worried about me. Son Goten is going to go home first. After all, after being away for so long, my mother must be more worried. Besides, there have been so many riots and so many evil warriors on the earth. Going back now can also protect my mother's safety. I'm fine now, let's go back with you. Kellen thought about it and planned to go back to Bowsy Mountain with Son Goten. Anyway, he is already upgraded now, and there is nothing important to do next. Just after returning to Bowsy Mountain, you can ask Goten what happened just now. Why do those who die come back to life? And Goten's strength has become so strong. What happened in the middle? Okay, Son Goten nodded, and then the two of them flashed and turned into a silver light. In a short while, he had already returned to Bowsy Mountain. After seeing Son Goten, who suddenly appeared, Chi-Chi burst into tears with excitement. "Goten, are you okay? I was watching TV just now, and I saw a lot of people who died before appearing on the earth." Chi-Chi quickly looked at Son Goten and asked with concern. "It's okay, Mom. Those guys just now have been dealt with by Mr. Kellen and me." Son Goten shook his head, but his heart was warm. This feeling of being cared for by the closest relatives is very good, to be honest. Well, that's good. If something happens to you, I don't even know how to live. He has lost Goku and Gohan. Now Goten is all her hope and spiritual sustenance. If something happens to even Goten, she really can't survive. "Don't worry, Mom. I'm very strong now. Nothing will happen." Son Goten also smiled and comforted. "I must not be eating well outside these days. I must be starving. Mom is going to cook something delicious for you now." Hurry up and get in the house. Kellen, you are lucky today too. Chi-Chi quickly pulled Son Goten into the room. Then he said to Klin behind him. Kellen also smiled awkwardly. To be honest, there has never been such treatment before. In the past, when I wanted to play with Goku and Gohan, I would sneak around for fear that Chi-Chi would find out. And after being discovered, they will inevitably be scolded. But now the treatment is completely different, and you can still eat rice cooked by Chi-Chi. An hour later, a table of delicacies from mountains and seas was quickly wiped out by Son Goten and Kellen. Wow, so full. It's still delicious food made by my mother. Son Goten rubbed his swollen belly and sighed sincerely. Indeed, I have been eating the food cooked by Jebet some time ago. It is simply dark cuisine. Hum rumble. And just after dinner, Son Goten and Kellen were about to go out for a walk and talk about what happened in the past few days. Suddenly, the familiar roar of the helicopter sounded again. Looking up, it was still the pink helicopter. Apparently, it was Videl who came. The helicopter quickly landed in front of Kling and Son Goten, and Videl stepped down. Yo, isn't this Mr. Satan's daughter? Goten, it looks like your luck is coming. Looking at the beautiful figure in front of him, Kellen joked with a smile. Because the previous Satan was too famous on Earth. Naturally, his daughter is also often on TV. When Kellen and Master Rashi were together, she would often watch TV. So it's natural to know Videl. It looks like she's here for Goten. Sure enough, the stronger the strength, the greater the charm. Don't make trouble. I guess they are here to trouble me. Son Goten could only say helplessly. After all, the last time she saw Videl, she didn't give herself a good look. I don't see it. Kellen shook his head. The intuition of single dogs is still very accurate. In the middle of their conversation, Videl walked up to Son Goten and Kling. Son Goten, long time no see. Videl also greeted directly with a hearty voice. What? Did Ms. Videl come to Xingshi again to question her? Son Goten asked with a faint smile. Let's be honest, Videl is kind of cute in two ponytails. And the appearance is really good. No, I've come to apologize to you. I was too unreasonable last time. Just now I saw the picture of you dealing with those intruders on TV. And my father also completely confessed to me. Sorry, last time I was too reckless and misunderstood you. Videl blushed, lowered his head, and apologized. Obviously, she, who has always been proud, is not very used to apologizing to others. Okay, I accept your apology. If there is nothing else, you can go back. Son Goten still had a faint smile on his face, nodded and said to Videl. Now he doesn't want to have an affair with Videl. Videl was taken aback for a moment. I lost my face and apologized to this guy, but he was about to drive me away without saying a word. It is too much. And besides apologizing for her visit this time, more importantly, she wants to learn the ability to fly with Son Goten. This BD, he really doesn't understand pity and pity. 045 evil thought wave heads to earth, please. Goten asking for flower evaluation tickets. Is there anything else, Miss Videl? Looking at Videl, who was clenched and puffed up, Son Goten asked again. Have. Videl also nodded without thinking. She thinks Son Goten is too direct. If he had told Son Goten that he had nothing else to do, the guy would have kicked him out without hesitation. In addition to apologizing to you this time, I also hope that you can guide me. I see that when you fought with those guys before, you were able to fly in the sky. Please guide my ability to fly. Biting his red lips tightly, Videl stared intently at Son Goten and said. She knew that her father was not capable of this kind of flight, but she is also a very strong person who desires to become stronger. At this time, she can only let go of her arrogance and face and ask Son Goten to teach her. Goten, what a great opportunity. I think that chick seems to be interested in you. Why don't you teach her flying technique? Maybe you can get another wife. It's really a bargain. Kellen on the side said to Son Goten excitedly. The girl in front of me looks so kawaii and very cute. Although it seems to be a few years older than Goten, but the female junior holds a golden brick, and being older also has great benefits. If it was him, he would definitely agree without hesitation. How about you teach? Son Goten glanced at Kling and said, Forget it. People look down on me again. Clint shook his head quickly. He's still kind of self-aware. Son Goten, I'm a quick learner. You just need to tell me the flying skills, and I can figure it out myself." Looking at the two whispering, Videl spoke again. "If you learn the ability to fly in the future, you don't have to take the trouble of taking a helicopter. And when fighting crimes in the future, they will be able to arrive faster." Miss Videl, it's not that I'm mean and don't want to teach you flying technique. But as your strength becomes stronger, you will encounter more and more opponents, and your risk factor will also become higher and higher. "Why bother?" Son Goten said seriously. "In fact, everyone is like this. When the strength becomes stronger, they will also encounter more powerful opponents. The current Videl at least has the ability to protect himself and will not encounter too strong opponents. But if he gets entangled with himself, his safety will not be guaranteed in the future. After all, there are too many strong people in this world, and his strength is not enough to deal with those real powerhouses." "I'm not afraid," Videl immediately said stubbornly. Just when Son Goten was about to continue speaking, suddenly, a familiar voice sounded in his mind. "Goten, Goten, can you hear me?" It's the voice of Son Goku. Kellen on the side was also taken aback. Apparently, he also heard Son Goku's voice. "Goten, did you hear that? It was Goku's voice just now." Kellen immediately looked at Son Goten excitedly and said, Goku's voice suddenly appeared in his head just now, a voice he will never forget. It was the first time Goku contacted him after more than 8 years. "While I heard it," Son Goten nodded. "Goten, Kling, listen to me. I'm really sorry. An unprecedented disaster may occur on the Earth next." Son Goku's voice is very heavy and sounds weak. "What's going on?" "Goku, you mean those resurrected guys? But they were sent back to hell by me and Goten." Kellen asked with a puzzled look. "If it's those guys, it's not a disaster at all. Not even close to warming up. It seems that Goku has been in the underworld for too long, and he doesn't know Goten and his current strength at all. No, it's a guy who is countless times more terrifying than those guys. Goten, Xian Yinbua left the underworld after defeating us just now. The Great Realm King said that its target seems to be the Earth." Son Goku first denied Kellen's words, and then said to Son Goten very seriously, "Because Goten is aware of the existence of evil thoughts. I also know how powerful the evil thought wave is." "Evil thought wave?" Son Goten raised his eyebrows slightly. Although he is not afraid of evil thought waves, he is even fully confident that he can easily defeat him. But if this guy arrives on Earth, the situation is still a bit not optimistic. Because once such a super battle breaks out on Earth, innocent people will definitely be injured. "Xian Yinbua? What kind of guy is that?" Kellen was at a loss. This was the first time he heard such a strange name. That guy's strength is not comparable to that of Lightning Cell. "Goten, I'm so sorry. I can only rely on you and Krillin now," Son Goku said in a very guilty voice. If he has enough strength, he can directly solve Xian Yinbua in the underworld. But unfortunately, after he became Super Saiyan 3, he was easily defeated by Xian Yinbua. And he and Gohan's fusion also failed because of a gesture error. In the end, the wave of evil thoughts was not eliminated. Perhaps Xian Yinbua felt that their opponents were too boring, so he left the underworld directly. According to the judgment of Great Kaiwang-sama and Kaiwang-sama, the target of the evil thought wave is the Earth. Maybe he felt Goten, a powerful opponent. Is it that powerful? Clinton frowned suddenly. Goku's tone already shows how powerful that wave of evil thoughts is. "Okay, I get it. The things in the underworld have nothing to do with me. Of course, if Xian Yinbua wants to make trouble on the Earth, then I will definitely destroy him." Son Goten didn't complain or blame Son Goku and the others, because he is very clear Son Goku and the others have indeed tried their best. In the case of fusion failure, they simply can't stop the evil wave. And it's no use blaming or complaining now. "Please, Goten." Son Goku then let out a guilty sigh. The cell made by their cells 8 years ago, and the lightning cell that they achieved because of their carelessness, the big problem was left to Goten. Unexpectedly, now the wave of evil thoughts is also left to Goten. To be honest, he is really incompetent as a father, and he is also very guilty. 046 Kellen volunteered to fight against Xian Yinbua, asking for flower evaluation tickets. Goten, is that guy named Son Goku really strong? After Son Goku's voice completely disappeared, Kellen looked at Son Goten and asked, guys that even Goku and the others can't handle at all should be very strong. And Goku also made it very clear that Lightning Cell can't be compared with that guy at all. It seems that next the Earth will encounter another catastrophe. Well, very strong. Son Goten nodded without any hesitation. If he didn't have Fusion's super bloodline, or if he didn't get the potential development of the old Supreme Kai, he might not be able to clean up the evil wave. That guy is made up of pure, evil energy. It is not an easy task to completely destroy him. Giggle, these bastards. Why do they like to run to the earth? Kellen clenched his fists tightly and cursed in a low voice. No matter how strong the villains are, they all like to come to the earth to make trouble. Is the earth so popular with them? Okay, you don't have to worry too much. Although the evil thought wave is very strong, with my current strength, I can completely solve it. Son Goten patted Kellen on the shoulder and said with a smile, hey, who the hell were you talking to just now? What is the wave of evil thoughts you were talking about? Did you say these things on purpose to drive me away? Videl said with a confused face. Son Goten and the bald man next to him seemed to be talking to other people all the time, but he didn't see the fourth person appearing, and he didn't hear any sound. It must be that they used the method of rogue in order to drive themselves away. Miss Videl, it's not safe outside now. You'd better stay in Bowsy Mountain. My mother is right there. Son Goten pointed to his house and said to Videl. Then he said to Kellen, let's go. In the next second, the bodies of the two disappeared in place in an instant. All that's left is Videl, tousled in the wind. But after being dazed for more than 10 seconds, Videl also woke up. Then he looked at the house not far away. After struggling for a moment, he walked over. Now that Son Goten's mother is there, let's get his mother down first. If Son Goten is an obedient child, then he will definitely listen to what his mother says. At that time, I will be able to learn the ability to fly. Thinking of this, Videl felt flattered. At this time, Son Goten and Kellen had already appeared in the midair of Shidu. I didn't feel any ki. Kellen looked around and said, well, I didn't feel it either. However, I suddenly felt a little uneasy in my heart. I always felt that something bad would happen. Son Goten nodded first, then spoke. For some reason, his heart suddenly felt uneasy. Although Son Goku's strength is indeed very strong, but it is absolutely impossible to let yourself have such uneasy emotions. Maybe there may be more powerful enemies appearing. When you say that, I also get nervous. Seeing Son Goten's serious expression, Kellen also became nervous. In this way, the two of them were in a state of vigilance, and the time passed by every minute. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes passed. Coming! Suddenly, Son Goten's face changed because he felt an extremely powerful evil breath descending on the earth. I feel it too. Kellen also nodded immediately. Then a look of horror appeared on his face. My God! What kind of monster is this? The aura is so powerful, and it is unprecedentedly evil. This breath is too powerful, too evil. Even the former universe Emperor Frisia and the Monster Cell don't have such evil spirit at all. That guy is an evil body formed by the gathering of countless evil energies. Mr. Kreen, let's go. After Son Goten's voice fell, he took the lead in flying towards the place where the evil breath came out. Clint followed suit. In just a dozen seconds, the two had arrived at a desolate place in the northwest of the eastern capital. Fortunately, this guy did not appear in the downtown area. Otherwise, once the battle starts, it will definitely cause heavy casualties to innocent people. At this time, a figure appeared in front of the two of them. Red skin, a layer of light purple armor wrapped around the body, like a hard armor. Holding a long sword of the same color as the skin in his hand, the corner of his mouth raised a bloodthirsty, evil arc. That guy is Son Goku. Isn't this momentum too powerful? After seeing the wave of evil thoughts in front of him, Kellen's face suddenly showed a look of horror. Although he has changed his timid character, but this extremely powerful and evil aura really makes people unable to calm down. Well, that's the evil thought wave. It seems that this guy is stronger than I thought. But then, it should be a hearty battle. Son Goten nodded, and then a look of excitement crossed his face. This guy's strength is very strong, and it is very likely that he has surpassed the previous Broly. More importantly, this guy's special attack method is also quite outrageous. It can deal a fatal blow to the opponent through the dislocation of time and space, and be able to make your body break down quickly and then reassemble in another place. I have to say, this guy is really ridiculously strong. In the theatrical version, Resurrected Fusion, if it wasn't for Gogeta's unwavering use of Starburst bombs to completely solve the evil thought wave in an instant, it would probably be a very terrifying opponent. But the underworld is this guy's home field. I don't know if his strength will still be so tyrannical after arriving in the real world. Goten, let me play first. I want to test my current strength, and I want to overcome this fear of a strong opponent. Kellen volunteered, wanted to play the first game, because the wave of evil thoughts in front of him made him feel scared. To overcome this fear, you must face it head on. Okay, but be careful. This guy has the strength to kill you in an instant. Son Goten did not refuse, but he still reminded him. The strength of Xian Yinbua is an existence that even Super 3 Son Goku can easily defeat. Although Krillin is very strong now, there is still a big gap between him and Son Goku in Super Saiyan 3. Hearing Son Goten's words, Kellen frowned subconsciously. But soon his eyes became firm, and he nodded towards Son Goten. Then the body took 2 steps forward. Chi-Chi. Xian Yinbua looked at Klin and showed a bloodthirsty smile again. 047 Klin's second defeat, Goten's evil thought wave whoosh. Without any nonsense, Kellen rushed directly towards Xian Yinbua. After being transformed and upgraded again, Kellen's speed is indeed ridiculously fast. Almost in the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Xian Yinbua. Then he punched Xian Yinbua heavily. It seems to feel that such an attack is impossible to cause harm to oneself. The evil thought wave did not dodge at all. Let Kellen's fist hit him in the face. Boom! Not surprisingly, Kellen's fist landed heavily on Xian Yinbua's forehead. It's just that this guy's body didn't move at all, and there was still a bloodthirsty smile on the corner of his mouth. What? Kenning panicked immediately. Unexpectedly, when I struck with all my strength, I hit that guy directly between the eyebrows, and he remained motionless. Obviously, such an injury didn't have any effect on him. Cut! BD. The moment he withdrew his fist, Klin attacked several times in a row. Using both fists and kicks, it landed on Xian Yinbua's body crazily. Bang, bang, bang. But the result was the same as before. This guy was like an indestructible rock. No matter how Klin attacked, he couldn't cause any harm to him. Even his body stood in place and never moved. I'm just kidding. Kellen frowned tightly. Although I know this guy is very strong, there may be a big gap between them, but I didn't expect that the evil thought wave in front of me could completely ignore his attack. This gap is like a world of difference. Chi-Chi. Xian Yinbua let out a sharp laugh again. Then he waved the scarlet long sword in his hand and swung it directly at Klin. Kellen also reacted quickly. As soon as his feet stepped on the ground, his body instantly appeared tens of feet away. Kankin dodged the attack of the evil thought wave. If he was cut by that long sword, he would probably be decapitated on the spot. After stabilizing his figure, Kellen's expression became firm again. His hands clasped together in an instant, making a signature movement. Kamehameha wave. Accompanied by the roar, the powerful ki blast blasted out from the palm of his hand in an instant. Xian Yinbua gently raised his hand. A small cling actually appeared in the palm of his hand. Also made a Kamehameha wave movement, and the energy wave has blasted out. What? Clinton was shocked. There was an unbelievable look on his face. It's just that before he came back to his senses, the energy of the Kamehameha wave directly blasted towards him. Rumble! The moment the energy wave exploded, Kellen's body flew out in response. He hit the ground heavily, and his body was immediately covered with scars. Are you kidding me? This BD. He made a strong foul. Kellen drooped his eyelids and smiled helplessly. I was actually injured by my own Kamehameha wave. This is outrageous. Soon Kling struggled to his feet. Then he jumped up and came to Son Goten. He said embarrassingly, "Sorry, Goten. This guy is really too strong. My strength and his strength are not in the same dimension at all." Indeed, such a terrifying opponent was simply not something he could handle. It's okay, the expected result. Son Goten just smiled faintly. This is to be expected, so nothing surprising. If Kellen could defeat Xian Yinbua, that would be a surprise to him. Then Son Goten's hand rested lightly on Kling's shoulder. A wave of healing energy instantly entered Klin's body from the palm of his hand. After a while, Kellen's injury completely healed. My injury has completely healed. So amazing. When did you learn this ability? Kling looked at Son Goten in surprise. According to his memory, Goten didn't seem to have this ability before. Moreover, although Scion is a special race, it does not have the ability to heal at all. This is what I learned when I was in the Supreme Kai world. Son Goten didn't hide anything either. He just said it. It's just the process and method of learning. So naturally, I won't tell anyone. You kid, you are really getting more and more mysterious. Klein could only smile and say, but the stronger Goten is, the safer the earth will be. At this time, Xian Yinbua on the opposite side seemed to feel the strength of Son Goten. There was still an evil smile on his face, but this time, there was more excitement in the smile. Because the strength of those guys in the underworld is simply difficult to compete with him. Therefore, he also came to this place by accident, looking for a stronger opponent. I always feel that this place should be able to meet a strong opponent. The moment the smile fell, Xian Yinbua's body jumped up high. Holding the sword in both hands, he slashed directly at Son Goten. Goten, beware! Kellen quickly opened his mouth to remind. Son Goten's expression didn't change at all. Then he raised his right hand, and the index finger and middle finger easily caught Xian Yinbua's sword. Then fold it lightly. Click! The sword broke instantly. A look of surprise appeared on Xian Yinbua's face. But fleeting, a backflip landed firmly on the ground. Spreading his hands, half of the long sword in his hand turned into dust. Come on, Xian Yinbua. Let me feel your strength. Just don't let me down. Son Goten pursed his lips, and the desire to fight appeared on his face. Kellen, on the other hand, stepped back very knowledgeably. In an instant, it was hundreds of feet away. The body landed firmly on the top of a mountain. Because of the next battle, he can no longer help. Whoosh! In the next second, Son Goten's body suddenly flashed out. The speed was as fast as a ghost, and Kellen couldn't see Son Goten's movements at all. Fortunately, a strength monitoring system was installed in his body. So even if you can't see Goten's movements clearly, you can at least judge Goten's position through energy fluctuations. The moment his body appeared in front of Xian Yinbua, Son Goten punched him directly. The corner of Xian Yinbua's mouth showed a hint of cruel activity. The body instantly turned into a small cube and disappeared directly in front of Son Goten. This is the decomposition ability of evil thought waves. Snort! Such a trick doesn't work for me. Son Goten sneered. The left hand instantly gathered energy and blasted an energy wave directly behind him. At this time, Xian Yinbua's body had just reorganized behind Son Goten. Boom! It was hit firmly by the energy ball. The body was directly blasted out by the energy ball. Yay, yay! The moment it landed, Xian Yinbua let out a sharp cry. Obviously, Son Goten's attack just now made him a little angry. After all, he had never been so embarrassed in previous battles. A mirror-like crack in different space suddenly appeared in front of him, and then punched out directly. Although Son Goten is very familiar with Xian Yinbua's attack methods, he can't judge the specific location of Xian Yinbua's attack. Before he could react, he was hit hard on the back. The body also rushed forward directly. As soon as Son Goten clenched his fist, a grass-green arrogance erupted directly from his body, instantly stabilized his figure. At the same time, the arrogance disappeared immediately. 048 The decomposition and dimensional black hole capabilities of picking up evil thought waves. Seeking flower evaluation tickets, Xian Yinbua launched an attack again. The fists continued to blast out, and through the superpower of spatial dislocation, they continued to attack Son Goten. Bang, bang, bang. Son Goten was also hit several times in a row. To be honest, It is really not easy to avoid this sudden attack before you are familiar with this fighting method. But after figuring out his attack route and familiarizing himself with this fighting style, it's actually not difficult to deal with it. And even though Son Goten was hit 7 or 8 times, such an attack couldn't do him any harm at all. After fusion passed on the bloodline, his physical strength has undergone a qualitative change. Yeah, Xian Yinbo punched out again. Are you still here? The same moves cannot be used all the time. Son Goten murmured lightly. Then he turned his head suddenly and then punched out directly. Boom! In the next second, the fists of the two collided heavily. An overwhelming air wave instantly spread in all directions. The terrifying shock wave directly lifted the ground, and the surrounding mountain peaks also collapsed in response. One after another, they were blasted into powder like tofu dregs. Kellen also jumped up, and then his body floated in midair. Although his strength is far behind Gohan and Xian Yinbo, such a shock wave cannot harm him. After the collision of a punch, Xian Yinbo's fist was directly retracted. The body also staggered, retreating a dozen steps. At this time, in the Supreme Kai world and the planet of the Great Kai, everyone watched the game with serious expressions. Because if even Goten loses, the whole world will fall into a huge crisis. The power possessed by the evil thought wave is likely to destroy the entire universe. And this guy is the incarnation of all evil energies, without a trace of kindness and kindness in his heart. There is just evil and endless destruction. Goten, you must work hard. You must beat this guy. The fate of the entire universe is now in your hands. Supreme Kai Asin clenched his fists tightly, with sweat dripping from his forehead, silently cheering for Son Goten. This level of fighting is simply not something they can participate in. Even the shock wave generated by the two of them fighting may kill them directly. The only thing they can do now is to pray silently, hoping that Goten can defeat the evil thoughts. If Master Beerus is here, that wave of evil thoughts can be destroyed in an instant. And now, Lord Beerus is sleeping. The old Supreme Kai thought secretly in his heart. He knows better than anyone that the mightiest warrior in the universe isn't Sharon or Son Goten. It was Lord Beerus. He has a power that no one can imagine. In the entire universe, there is no single warrior who can compare to Lord Beerus. But now Master Beerus is sleeping, and he doesn't care about the things in front of him at all. If this situation continues, if Son Goten is defeated, when Master Beerus wakes up, it is estimated that most of the universe will be destroyed by the wave of evil thoughts. At this time, on the planet of the Great Realm King, everyone is also watching the battle on the earth through the ability of the Great Realm King. Everyone held their breath, looking extremely dignified. Goten must win. Come on, Goten. Son Goku and Son Gohan silently pray in their hearts. But, damn, we can only stay in this kind of place and watch that brat fight. Hateful. Vegeta clenched her fists tightly and gritted her teeth. It should be him, Vegeta, who is fighting Xian Yinbo now. But too strong is too weak. This kind of weakness made Vegeta extremely angry. Obviously, she is the most talented Saiyan Prince, but it has become the foil of Kakarot and his son time and time again. You don't have to worry too much. Son Goten doesn't seem to be nervous at all, which shows that he is sure to defeat Xian Yinbo. Looking at the extremely nervous crowd, the Great Realm King comforted him. Of course, this is just consolation. After all, everyone knows how powerful the evil thought wave is. And this time on Earth, Son Goten and Xian Yinbo once again had a fierce confrontation. After feeling that his spatial dislocation ability was no longer a threat to Son Goten, Xian Yinbo also gave up using this ability. Because once Son Goten gets used to that style of play, it won't do him any harm. So now is the real battle. Whoosh whoosh, bang bang bang. The bodies of the two are rapidly crisscrossing. The two black lines in the sky are constantly colliding back and forth, accompanied by low-pitched collision sounds. Tankings appear continuously on the ground, and a large area begins to collapse. What a fast speed! What an amazing combat power. These two guys are really monsters. Kellen frowned at this moment, looking solemnly at the battle in front of him. At this moment, He couldn't see the movements of Goten and Xian Yinbo at all, and even his power perception system can't accurately judge the positions of the two of them. Boom, boom, boom. The sonic boom circles are still flickering in the sky. At the same time, it was accompanied by crackling golden lightning. This scene is exactly the same as when Namek fell. Boom! At this moment, the low crash sounded again. Xian Yinbo's body flew upside down. While hitting the ground heavily, it slid hundreds of feet away before stopping. At this moment, a clear fist mark appeared on his chest, and the light purple armor on the chest also had cracks. Obviously, Son Goten's attack just now caused a lot of damage to Xian Yinbo. Great, Goten. Come on, get rid of it completely. Seeing that Xian Yinbo was blown away by a punch, Clinton shouted out excitedly. It seems that although Xian Yinbo is very strong, he is still not Goten's opponent. And at the same time as it caused damage to the evil thought wave, the familiar electronic synthesis sound also rang in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for picking up the decomposition movement ability. Ding! Congratulations to the host for picking up the dimensional black hole space dislocation ability. Is it so fast this time? After hearing the electronically synthesized sound of the system, Son Goten was immediately surprised, because whether it was against Cell or Broly before, it was almost at the last moment that they picked up their attributes. But this time, he picked up the attribute of Xian Yinbo before he fought seriously. But this time, there is no combat bonus. Also, after all, these two abilities are now more useful to him than combat power. 049, the normality surpasses the Super 3. Vegeta is numb, asking for flower evaluation tickets. Goten, kill that guy in one go. Don't hesitate, Goten. Son Goten, good job. At this time, on the planet of the Great King, Son Goku, Son Gohan, and all the kings are staring at the scene in front of them intently. He muttered in his mouth to let Son Goten get rid of the evil thought wave quickly, because this guy's healing ability is also very strong. Even a moment's hesitation may allow him to recover from his injuries. You don't need to worry, Goten will definitely be able to get rid of Xian Yinbo. Haven't everyone noticed? Goten has been fighting normally until now. There is no Super Saiyan transformation at all, which means that he is still in the warm-up stage. Looking at the nervous crowd, Piccolo spoke again. I have to say that this guy is indeed a little smarter than others, and he is also calmer. Since Son Goten started fighting until now, he has been fighting with normal strength. Doesn't use any Super Saiyan transformations at all. Even so, it was able to repel the wave of evil thoughts. Then once he becomes a Super Saiyan, he will definitely have the strength to surpass the evil wave. That's right, Goten didn't use Super Saiyan's transformation at all. I was a little too nervous just now, but I didn't find this problem. After hearing Piccolo's words, Son Goku and others suddenly realized. On the other hand, Vegeta's complexion became even uglier. Damn BD. Could it be that the normal strength of that stinking brat has already surpassed Kakarot's Super Saiyan 3? Are you kidding? This is absolutely impossible. Vegeta felt that he had doubted his life at this moment. The basic combat power surpasses Kakarot's Super Saiyan 3. In other words, the current Son Goten can completely abuse all of them with normal power. How could such a BD happen? Just a half-breed brat, and at this time in the Supreme Kai world. Although seeing that Goten has gained the upper hand. But Supreme Kai Asen's expression became even more dignified. Master Supreme Kai, what's wrong with you? Why did you suddenly look so ugly? Gohan has achieved such an advantage now, and he hasn't made a transformation yet. After transforming, he will definitely be able to get rid of Xian Yinbo with ease. After noticing the seriousness on Supreme Kai Asen's face, Jebbit comforted him from the sidelines. I don't know what's going on, but there is a very uneasy mood. It's as if something bad happened. Supreme Kai Asen shook his head and said, obviously now Goten has an absolute advantage. If there is no accident in the future, the evil thought wave will definitely be solved. But why does this uneasy feeling linger in my heart and linger? Jabbit, let's go to Earth. After hesitating for a moment, Supreme Kai said to Jabbit, this uneasy mood must be related to the Earth. He has to go to the Earth to confirm it before he can feel at ease. Because the enemies they have to face now, in addition to Xian Yinbua, there are also Majin Buu and the magician Babidi. Those two guys are definitely not fuel-efficient lamps. Okay, Lord Supreme Kai. Jebit nodded quickly. Master Ancestor, you stay in the God Realm first. Let's go to Earth to have a look. After Supreme Kai Asin talked to the old Supreme Kai, the two left the Supreme Kai world directly. After using instant transmission, the two arrived on Earth in a matter of seconds. Then he appeared directly beside Kellen. Huh? Who are you guys? Seeing the two people beside him appearing like ghosts, Clinton immediately made a defensive move. Because nothing good happened today, and all I met were some bastards. The two guys in front of me at this moment, looking at their strange attire, should not be from Earth either. Mr. Kling, please don't get me wrong. We are not bad people. I'm Supreme Kai from this universe, and a friend of Goten's. We've known each other before. Supreme Kai Asin said quickly. Through more than an hour of observation before, he also knew that the little bald man in front of him was a good friend of Goten. The tone is naturally very polite. Most importantly, this little bald head seems to be very powerful. Supreme Kai? Goten seems to have told me just now. After hearing the other party reveal his identity, Kellen also relaxed his vigilance. And I feel that although these two people are dressed strangely, there really doesn't seem to be any evil energy in their bodies. Yeah, and at this moment, the crack in Xian Yinbua's chest began to heal rapidly. Then there was a piercing scream. Obviously, he was very angry at this time, because when he was in the underworld before, Son Goku and the five of them teamed up and did not cause such harm to him. But this brat in front of him actually made him feel pain. Absolutely unforgivable. Xian Yinbua, the value of your existence is gone. Next, I will completely get rid of you. Looking at the angry and screaming Xian Yinbua, Son Goten said lightly, I didn't use all my strength before, just to pick up Xian Yinbua's superpower. Now that he has picked it up, Xian Yinbua will naturally lose the value of his existence. Yeah, seemingly understanding Son Goten's words, Xian Yinbua roared again, then rushed directly towards Son Goten. Bring it on! Son Goten clenched his fists tightly, and super green flames erupted from his body instantly. At this time, he is obviously much stronger than before. Although it still hasn't turned into the form of Super Saiyan, it is enough to get rid of the evil wave. After all, the potential was developed by the old Supreme Kai on the basis of passing on the bloodline. Even without transforming, the power of normality is already ridiculously strong. Watching the wave of evil thoughts rushing towards him quickly, Son Goten dodged his attack at a tricky angle. Then he directly slammed the door on his face. As soon as the palm was pressed hard, the terrifying grass-green flames surged instantly, and then directly pressed Xian Yinbua's body heavily into the ground. Rumble! The frenzied battle on the ground led to the appearance of a huge sinkhole, and Xian Yinbua's body was firmly held down directly by Son Goten. At the same time, a grass-green energy ball quickly condensed. At the moment when the energy ball exploded, Xian Yinbua's body disintegrated directly, avoiding the explosion. Whoosh! Son Goten's body also disappeared, appeared behind Xian Yinbua in midair. At this time, Son Goten's speed has already surpassed the wave of evil thoughts. Boom! With one kick, Xian Yinbua was kicked thousands of feet away. But Son Goten followed suit again. Bang, bang, bang. One after another sonic boom circles appeared in the sky, and Xian Yinbua was kicked around like a football. 050 Majin Buu breaks the seal. Xian Yinbua is controlled by Babidi. Asked for flower evaluation tickets. At this time, it was in a barren place in the southwest of the eastern capital. In the universe, spaceship standing upside down on the ground. The light released by the light purple magic egg became more and more intense. Just like a human heart, it keeps rising and falling. Ahaha! Such a strong energy. My Majin Buu, I'm finally about to break the seal. Looking at the magic egg beating like a heart, the evil magician Babidi jumped out excitedly. After waiting for so long, the energy is finally full. Majin Buu is finally waking up. The whole world will soon fall into his hands. Congratulations, Lord Babidi. Pwai and Dubra hurried forward to flatter them. Snort! After my Majin Buu wakes up, You two trash will have no value in existence. The magician Babidi glared at Pwai and Dubra, and then said in a cold tone, "It was because Majin Buu was not awake before, so he found these two garbage to assist him and help Majin Buu gain energy. But now his own Majin Buu is about to break the seal and wake up. At that time, there will be no need for these two poor guys to exist. Just right to have your own Majin Buu as a snack." Give it thinking of this, Babidi showed an evil smile. That wretched smile made both Dubra and Pui's hearts tense. But they have nothing to do, because they have been controlled by Babidi. As long as there is an idea of rebelling against Beerus, he will suffer the most cruel pain in the world, then die little by little in pain. Babidi's evil magician has a greater effect on the more evil people and stronger control. The two of them can be said to be the most vicious kind. So Babidi thought, they might be gone. Buzz buzz. At this time, the pink magic egg shone more dazzlingly, and it also shook more and more violently. Magician Babidi danced excitedly. Click! In the next second, a crisp sound rang out. Immediately afterwards, the pink magic egg directly turned into two petals, and a puff of pink smoke also drilled out of the magic egg, leaving the universe ship in an instant. My Majin Buu, hurry up and chase me. After seeing the empty shell in front of him, Babidi also realized that the pink smoke just now was Majin Buu, because Majin Buu is fully capable of atomizing himself. Yes, Lord Babidi. Both Pwai and Dubra nodded quickly, then quickly left the universe spacecraft. At this time, on the other side, Son Goten had already rubbed the evil thought wave on the ground. At this time, Xian Yinbua had scars of varying degrees on his body, and his light purple armor was also in tatters. The evil breath has also weakened a lot at this moment. Great Goten, awesome! Xian Yinbua is about to die. Clint's face was filled with excitement, because the current wave of evil thoughts has completely lost the ability to parry, only being pushed to the ground and beaten violently by Goten. At this time, Supreme Kai Asin, who was beside Kellen, suddenly sank. Master Supreme Kai, what's wrong with you? Seeing the change in Supreme Kai's face, Jebet asked again. Majin Buu is the evil energy of Majin Buu. Supreme Kai Asin's body trembled instantly. Just now, he suddenly felt an extremely familiar breath. This evil breath had long been deeply imprinted in the depths of his soul. He could clearly feel just a trace of breath. That's right, this breath is Majin Buu's. Absolutely can't go wrong. Nanny? Majin Buu. Jebba was also shocked instantly, but he didn't feel any breath at all. Majin Buu? What is that? Clint looked puzzled. He had never heard the name Majin Buu, but when you hear the word devil, you know that it is absolutely impossible to be a good thing. Seeing Supreme Kai's panicked expression, he is probably another very difficult opponent to deal with. Before Supreme Kai opened his mouth to explain, a cloud of pink smoke flew towards this side in an instant. In an instant, the sky is blocked out. Everyone looked up in surprise, and the sky at this time was completely covered by pink clouds. An evil breath also appeared. Oh, has Majin Buu appeared? It seems that the energy that broke out in the battle just now made him break the seal. But it's also good it happens to be able to get Majin Buu's super regeneration ability, and then we can get rid of you together. Son Goten looked up at the completely pink sky and knew it was Majin Buu's masterpiece. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with that evil aura. But that's exactly what he wanted to happen. Although Majin Buu's super regeneration ability is not as good as the immortality obtained by wishing on the Super Shenron, it is still too strong. If you can pick it up, it's a good thing. What a powerful evil breath. Not much weaker than Xian Yinbua. Are you kidding? How come there are so many powerful enemies suddenly? After feeling the extremely powerful Majin Buu breath, Kellen also frowned. A wave of evil thoughts is already very difficult to deal with. Now there is a guy who is comparable to Xian Yinbua. In this case, I don't know if Goten can handle it. And just when everyone was surprised, the pink clouds in the sky began to approach quickly. In a moment, under the gaze of everyone, the gray cloud has turned into a chubby human shape. Fat Buu was also born. Then it fell lightly to the ground, then happily turned around in circles. Ho 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 ho. There was also a sound of excitement in his mouth. Maybe it's been sealed for too long. There will inevitably be some excitement after regaining freedom. At this time, Majin Buu looked like a silly 3-year-old child. Then, is that guy sure strong? Looks like a fool. Kellen looked at Majin Buu, who kept circling in circles, and couldn't help complaining. Although I did feel that extremely powerful evil aura just now, but the chubby pink fat man in front of him still looks cute. It doesn't fit the identity of a demon at all. No, that's right, he is Majin Buu, and I will never forget it, Supreme Kai Asin said with a trembling body. Although he knows that Goten is strong enough to deal with Majin Buu. But the kind of fear that goes deep into the bone marrow is hard to overcome. Just when everyone turned their attention to Majin Buu, the wave of evil thoughts opposite Son Goten suddenly changed. Chi chi chi. A sharp cry came out of his mouth, and a struggling look appeared on his face. But soon, this struggling look disappeared. Then he saw a special symbol similar to M appearing between Xian Yinbu's eyebrows. Nah, Nanny. The evil thought wave was also controlled by Babidi. After seeing the special symbol between Xian Yinbu's eyebrows, Supreme Kai was so frightened that he stuttered. He, Supreme Kai, I finally see you. Immediately afterwards, a wretched laugh sounded not far away. 051 Tremble, the legendary Super Saiyan form, asked for flower evaluation tickets. Babidi, UBD. Supreme Kai Asin clenched his fist tightly. This guy was really as annoying as his father. And just as evil. Hard-talking Supreme Kai. You can go and accompany my father later. Babidi let out a wretched smile again. At this moment, he also noticed that Son Goten was the main force among these few people. Then immediately ordered to Majin Buu and Xian Yinbu, hey, you two guys kill that brat for me right now. As for the tone of this order, Xian Yinbu seemed to have no intention of contradicting it at all, because he himself is composed of pure evil energy. Babidi's control over him is even stronger. But because of the existence of the big Supreme Kai in Fat Buu's body, it seems that there is a psychological resistance. A pair of small eyes instantly narrowed into a crescent, staring at Babidi. This tone of command made him very unhappy. Majin Buu, do you want to be sealed away again? Seeing Fat Buu's displeased expression, Babidi immediately threatened. Sure enough, Fat Buu became much more honest in an instant. He had just regained his freedom and felt the value of freedom, so he naturally didn't want to be sealed again. Then he looked at Son Goten fiercely, as if he wanted to vent all his anger on Son Goten. Are the two going together? It looks like I can finally fight well. Son Goten glanced left and right at Majin Buu and Xian Yinbu. Both of them looked like they had taken some medicine. He didn't have any worries, because even if the two of them joined forces, it is absolutely impossible to be their opponent. Yeah! Majin Buu and Xian Yinbu screamed almost at the same time, and then rushed directly towards Son Goten. The speed of the two seemed to be on par, and they were in front of Son Goten in an instant. Afterwards, the two of them shot left and right, and they all blasted out with a full blow. Son Goten unhurriedly opened his arms, then responded with palms. Boom! Rumble! The moment the two fists hit Son Goten's palm, the ground under their feet collapsed. The spider web-like cracks spread rapidly. Circles of dust spread out like waves. Ha! Son Goten exploded in an instant, and grass-green flames erupted directly from his body. The terrifying breath directly pushed the two of them back tens of meters. Nanny? Why is that brat so strong? When did such a powerful guy appear in the universe? Seeing that Majin Buu and Xian Yinbu were easily pushed back by that guy, Babidi suddenly showed surprise and fear on his face. He had never discovered such a powerful warrior in the universe before. And by the looks of it, he was still a kid. Just in case, Babidi immediately said to Dapra and Pui beside him, You two, bring me Supreme Kai here right now. I want to get rid of the guy who killed my father with my own hands. Yes, Lord Babidi. Dubra and Pui also nodded immediately. Then bloodthirsty eyes turned to Supreme Kai. The Demon Lord, Dubra. This guy is actually controlled by Babidi. After seeing Demon Lord Dubra, Supreme Kai once again showed a terrified look. There is no way because the demon Lord Dubra has the strength to kill him and Jebet in an instant. Jebet on the side is also full of horror, because he is very clear about the strength of the demon Lord Dubra. It is simply not something he and Supreme Kai can handle. Master Supreme Kai, leave the two of them to me. Kellen on the side stepped forward and said to Supreme Kai, although I don't know why these two gods are so afraid of those two guys, but I didn't feel too powerful from their bodies. He felt he could handle both of them alone. You can, Mr. Kreen. Supreme Kai hurriedly asked. The demon Lord Dubra's strength is outrageous. Don't be brave. Let's go together. Jebet also hurriedly said to Klin in good faith. Klin's self-confidence may be because he doesn't know how strong the demon Lord Dubra is. No, I can handle it alone. Kellen shook his head, directly refusing to join forces, because those two guys were not strong in the first place, and he also wants to improve his strength in actual combat. After speaking, the body flashed out. Almost instantly, he appeared directly beside Dubra and Pui. What? So fast. Dubra and Pui looked at Kellen, who suddenly appeared in shock. They didn't pay attention to this ordinary-looking little bald head at all, but I didn't expect his speed to be so fast. Without seeing clearly what happened, they appeared directly beside them. Pui, in particular, was terrified. Cut! Earth doesn't belong to you scoundrels, let alone a place where you scoundrels can run wild. Kellen frowned, and the moment the cold voice fell, he punched out directly. Pui's body was directly pierced by a punch. After all, this guy's strength is really too weak. In the original book, his strength can't even beat the normal Son Goku and Vegeta. At this time, Kellen already had the strength of the lightning cell back then, so it is very simple to get rid of Pui. Even Dubra is only at the level of a complete cell. Damn bald head. Dubra was furious instantly. The two fought fiercely together. The battle on the other side was also quite fierce. Although the combination of Majin Buu and Xian Yinbua is very powerful, Son Goten can still handle it. Boom! The fists of the three collided together again. This time, the bodies of Xian Yinbua and Majin Buu flew hundreds of feet backwards, and Son Goten's body was also pushed back by more than 10 steps. The combined strength of these two guys really shouldn't be underestimated. And after being controlled by Babidi just now, Xian Yinbua's strength has obviously improved greatly. It seems that if you want to get rid of them completely, you can only change into the form of Super Saiyan. Kneading his fist, Son Goten thought secretly, just get rid of them completely. With this in mind, Son Goten clenched his fists tightly. Ah! A deep roar came out of his throat instantly. With the roar, the whole ground began to tremble crazily. The breath is even more powerful to the point of unimaginable. Hum rumble! The entire Earth is shaking violently, and the planets around the Earth are also shaking constantly. And this powerful aura can be clearly felt even by Son Goku and the others who are on the large forgotten planet. Shock. Incredibly shocking. Oh my God, is this really Goten's breath? Too horrible. Krillin, who was fighting Dubra, suddenly stopped fighting and then looked at Son Goten in utter horror. Both eyes are full of unbelievable, but Dubra was extremely frightened. At this time, Son Goten's body was completely surrounded by grass-green flames. Great, Goten is finally going to be like that. Unspeakable excitement appeared on Jebet's face, because they had seen Son Goten's transformation before. That kind of transformation is so powerful that it cannot be described in words. 052 Vegeta. Your son's hair is green, asking for flower evaluation votes. And at this time on the planet of the Great Realm King, all the people watching the battle were completely shocked. The aura of a human being from the Northern Galaxy can be directly transmitted to the planet of Supreme Kai. This kind of thing is simply unheard of, and they have never thought of such an—
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.